true. Where are they getting this burger, and can we come with you? Where is the secret? Where's the secret place, and what is the secret sauce? So, okay, we're going to a different side of the bracket, people. We're still in round 2. We're just on a different portion of the bracket. So same map modes that we were seeing before, opening up on tower control on ship-shaped cargo. Well, clearly OBT, both very strong pickup teams here. I mean, you have Rimu and Rudy on $5 pickup, but Ultra Wash with the GOAT, you have Ivy, Woomy, and Woomy has been on so many a pickup team these days. And Nilla and Humo as well. So I mean, another stacked group of fellas coming up to the stage and opening up round 2 with us.
Yeah, Ultra Wash with the Ghosts are our number 1 seed for today, and that does not surprise me. Also, shout out to mystery Japanese character. If anyone knows who that is, put it in the chat, bro. I can't read Japanese. You know, it's cool that people are sharing their culture with everybody, but I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, it would be helpful. It'd be helpful for us to know. We just got confirmation. Their name is Jade. So, hey, Jade. Welcome to Neon Wail. Happy to see ya. Welcome to this is Radio Hour on Neon Wail. Neon Wail with Saf and OBT. Radio Hour, like NPR, but not at all.
NPR, but I get to do whatever I want. I'm just kidding. That is not true. I cannot do what I want. But I am happy everyone's here joining us on Friday. I was just telling them it's the first day of my summer break. My school just got out as a teacher, so I'm excited for that. And I hope everyone else is enjoying their summer. Hopefully, I am hopeful it is not as hot where you guys live. It's I think already in the mid to high 90s here in Phoenix. So,
which is absurd. That's got to be really challenging.
Painful,
because there's not really a whole lot to do on the outside neck of the woods if there's even woods at all in Phoenix. There's not woods at all. You and I talked extensively about this at LTC. There's just the ecosystem, the climate. It ain't there for us forest folk.
Yeah, Saf is definitely more of an outdoors person, and I'm like, look, you just can't out in this time of the year. Like it just sucks. The moment you're outside, you're like, yep, get me out of here, bro. I gotta go. Give me somewhere.
Yeah, dude, I gotta get out of here.
For those of you in non-freedom units land, that is around about 35 to 37 Celsius. So I remember, dude, it's so funny. I always like talking to my international friends and saying, yeah, it's like 45 degrees Celsius. They're like, how are you alive? How is anyone alive doing anything?
They're like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty punishing, but that's okay. I'm from Phoenix. I'll get over it. And we are close to having this set going. We're just trying to get everyone in the room for this another duplicate round 2 match. It's kind of fun to commentate the exact same match maps with a different group of people. So hopefully, getting to you pretty soon here.
Right, and it's like, how do other people change things up and mix it up? Which, again, it's hard to keep tabs on people and what they like to play and who they are and stuff, especially in a lot of tournaments where people go into pickup teams. But, I mean, eventually you start really recognizing who people are, I would think. So we have some sort of idea of what people like to play. However, I also was corrected earlier, OBT. WD-40 actually just won Low Ink. They recently won Low Ink. I believe it might have been this month or last month. However, still pretty cool, and it's one of those things where you take your Low Ink win and then you immediately go and try to get into every single mid-level tournament possible.
Yeah, and a shout out to my buddy Piner. They were subbing with WD-40 and they won. And it's crazy because they were the lower seed there. Very close, but hey, we just got word from the people on high. The match is getting started. I think they're probably just getting everybody readied up here. Excited to see another match of ship-shaped cargo. And I think it's always really interesting because a lot of that match I feel like is determined by who wins that first fight, and it looks like we are getting into it.
Yeah, it's the really important thing to remember is who is going to be successful in the team fight, and Clash Blaster wins the team fight. That's how you win the team fight, OBT.
Wow, very interesting. We have a kind of, I'm going to say, for fun pick on both sides. You got the Clash Blaster coming out on the side of Ultra Wash with the goat, and of course Jade on the Swiffer there. Gonna make this pretty interesting. I feel like this is a pretty good Swiffer map. As you see 2 people get rushed down here on the left side. So much AoE coming out on the side of Ultra Wash with the goat, and you see the sword. Unfortunately, gonna lose the battle there to that weapon. As you see more members of the yellow team kind of cleaning it up.
Yeah, Ultra Washed in a great position to follow up here. That first checkpoint already being taken down in a huge man advantage with the end zap, I believe, on $5 pickup being taken down there. So no cooler to be had for $5 pickup as that first checkpoint for Ultra Washed has fallen. And you can see Pretty Bird trying to jump in here. They do have that Zuka online. Not going to really find any value, though, as Nilla is there to follow up. So now the tower finally going back into favor of $5 pickup here. A great assist with the bomb there for Nilla. And being in a really great position here, actually, to get a lot of aggressive pressure going down. However, usually when where this first checkpoint is at, it's always that fight on the bridge that is going to be where the crucial turning point in the battle will end up being.
Yeah, man, and again, just kind of a normal cooler match. You're seeing a lot of people jump in, go down, and immediately jump back in on both sides. But it does look like after a very lengthy battle, it's going to be $5 pickup pushing this first checkpoint. And again, man, once you get Lite and they're already here, it's really hard kind of mount a defense. It's almost like, hey, let's just get set up for the second checkpoint on the right side. And you see a lot of the members of Ultra Wash with the GOAT kind of moving up there, but it doesn't matter. They go 3 down, looking like a rematch of the first set there, where there's just kind of a steamroll heading into this last checkpoint here, as we're getting really close to about knockout territory.
Yeah, and $5 pickup is in a great position, taking over the high ground here in the single digits now with moving the tower. There's nobody there to follow up, so $5 pickup going to be taking that first game with fries.
I know, huge value, honestly, and I think their picture is a picture of, like, it looks like Five Guys, and that is definitely not $5. I just want everyone to know that. But man, you know, I feel like that match came a lot down to, I've talked with Shiny because they live in my state, and talking about pacing, and I felt like the difference maker was $5, got them down pretty much always right before they needed to push the checkpoint. I just felt like it was like a no one's home scenario where they can't even get to the tower to defend it, or if you look on the overhead, like they're so far away, and it's just basically a free checkpoint for both of them.
Yeah, and it reaches a point too where when you get that far, it's like, what else can we do? When you get past, especially when you break through to the third checkpoint, it's like, what else can you do? Especially when you have different key positions being taken away from you so quickly, as $5 pickup did. They were able to collapse onto Ultra Wash so fast there, but Ultra Wash had such a strong opening. So I'm wondering now, with the information now that's been gathered and how you want to move into the second game on Clam Blitz Scorched Gorge, where do you want to try to make the differences here? This map is way more open. It's a little bit more challenging to find places to hide, and especially with $5 pickup being so keen on taking higher ground type positions, it would seem to me that Ultra Wash needs to be a little bit quicker and have the upper hand with trying to make sure that those key positions aren't lost.
Yeah, man, it's just so hard when you're going cooler versus cooler, because it's the deaths are so inconsequential until you're outside of that cooler window. And I felt like the difference makers, man, the other team had that pencil player, and it's just so challenging sometimes. Like, man, that pencil's awesome once you're set up, but trying to get that thing set up sometimes can be really challenging. And I felt like they just did not do a really good job doing that on the defense there. And I think on this map, it should be a little easier. There's a lot of good points. You can just anchor really well. Shout out to the anchor position being pretty viable in this game. I mean, growing up at the latter part of Splatoon 2, man, I feel like I didn't see like any backline, any anchor players. And I know people dislike pencil, but at least, hey, there's something for the backliner to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. The anchor position definitely, when in this one, even though with the lack of missiles, you still have to be pretty mobile and not really allow yourself to get too cozy and it's somewhere for too long. But, and again, too, the name of the game is stealth jump. Also, consistently, no matter what position that you play, stealth jump, it has to be within your main abilities somewhere one way or another here. But with opening statements now being made already, one member of $5 pickup going down, even though the cooler is online, so drinks to be had all around by everyone actually, as Ultra Wash pops a cooler of their own here. Just kind of, I don't know, a scrappy middle fight here, as finally the wipeout has occurred and the opening push by $5 pickup will be made.
Yes. I think the teams might be backwards. I think the purple team is actually the Ultra Wash with the goat.
Oh yeah, there you go. You're so
Yeah,
right.
yeah, but again, this purple team looking really good. They already got the bat down to 60. Power Clam on the way in. You see Jade trying to be in the nice double. Can they get the triple from Jade? Showing off, man, when you get hit shots, you get more value. Oh my gosh. I am
Oh
a
my.
super believer after this.
Yeah, Jade really hungry to go in for the fourth there. What a great bubble to have to with follow-up from a teammate there. Delayed wipe though on the side of Ultra Wash. Not going to let it deter them for long though, as the basket still goes up before that ball is able to make any sort of contact there. So 21 on the docket for Ultra Washed here, but no clams really for $5 pickup. They're trying their best. Finally, 2 members down, going to be safely making some passage and headway into mid here as we're trying to raise this economy as best as we can, looking to see who we can maybe form a power clam with. However, it's like you said, a game of cooler where immediately Ultra Wash is back into the zone.
Yeah, doing a really good job on that ramp fight from $5 burger there. Just showing a lot of chip damage between like the wiper and sorry, not the wiper, the blaster and the pencil there. But man, it does not matter. As soon as they smell blood, Ultra Wash is back on their plat with the power clam. Really showing just, man, how easily it is for them to move up and quickly just get to the basket. Nilla's debating on if they want to drop the clam for the power clam. Is going to get it taken out with a very unfortunate Zuka double, and I think that's going to be basically a full wipe after they get this jump. And there it is, and this is finally $5 burger's time to move up to mid.
Yeah, Pretty Little Bird just kind of waiting patiently for that jump to come in. They're looking to take a fight with Nilla, but Nilla coming out successful. Rudy's there to follow up, offering the trade, though. $5 pickup going down as quickly as they were trying to get it all together. 3 members being wiped out. No points in sight for them either, as Ultra Wash now has a power clam online, looking to try to make contact as they do with the basket here, with 2 different members being down. Jade has got the moves of some kind, because they were in the ditch, OBT, and they just came back up.
Hey, shout outs to Ledge Correction. We love it here, man. But man, very fancy footwork coming out from Jade as they are within striking distance. One more clam will do it. I swear I have deja vu right now, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, one more clam is all it's going to take, but the penalty is going to be closed before anything else can be done with that. And 29 points, though, is a very slim margin to try to even break that and get down to that last point there. But again, the fight being had in mid. $5 pickup can do really well at trying to get this fight and to contest mid, but they're just not quick enough on their feet to really get a good push going. Again, as you can see, the ball player being the last one alive, everybody now respawning back in. No clams, though, no power clam to be had for Ultra Wash quite yet, but I don't think that's going to deter them for very long, considering $5 pickup basically has to win the game.
Yeah, you know, it never feels good when you are down a match and also they push to 1 and then you get a chance to push and then they just wipe you and you have to do it all over again. It's really, really mentally draining on that. And again, I just feel like they just cannot get out onto the other side of the map. You see Nilla out here trying to poke with the pencil. I'm going to go down, but man, I mean, they still have yet to cross mid as a team yet, really. And this is, again, getting in the last minute mark. I mean, you see people going down on the side of Ultra Wash, but just a lot of hesitancy on the side of $5 pickups here.
Yeah, and I think, too, the pencil putting down so much paint output, it's like $5 pickup does have the space to work with, but like you said, when you hesitate too much, it just leaves an opening for Ultra Wash with the GOAT to come through and just steamroll the competition here. Humo finding success in the fight, Jade finding success in the fight. Again, power clam by Nilla going to be making contact with the basket here, only taking 20 points down, so really only a couple power clams to spare to get some change going there, but the wipeout now occurring once again. $5 pickup shows that they are capable of getting this wipeout. They just can't quite get the resources together.
Yeah, and honestly, man, if I'm on Ultra Wash, it's like, whatever, bro. We have such a huge lead at this point. I don't mind giving them another power claim. And again, finally they got on their side of the map, and they're immediately taken down with the team wipe. I don't know if yes, they do have another ball, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get there, especially with Jade being 1 power claim away, and that's going to end it right there.
Yeah, just waiting for the teammates to come and follow up and throw that last clam in.
Yeah, and I honestly thought it was just a classic example of we got this huge lead, we could just trade out for most of the game, and then we'll just open the basket to get it. Again, it's crazy that both of the sets have ended that way with just an absolute steamroll, one-sided push on the first game, and basically getting a knockout at the end there for the other game. So I mean, that it definitely is the power of what's good teamwork. And I honestly, I know people consider Scorch more of a neutral map, but it does have a pretty hard lockout. And I think it's more apparent on like TC or Rainmaker. But I mean, it is sometimes hard to get back into mid or get it back to even to get to mid and then to get to their side of the map. There's just a lot of choke points. So I just felt like $5 pickup just had a really, really hard time getting into mid after they got any kind of advantage going.
Yeah, but the thing is though they were still capable of breaking through the offense. There
Mm.
was considerable offensive pressure coming from Ultra Washed, but $5 pickup was able to break through it multiple times, but again, it was just the lack of resources. And honestly, I truly believe that when clam spawns just don't quite go in your favor, that can really make or break how the game is going to be played for a lot of people. Because if you're just not quite getting the spawns, or they're just not quite coming to you like at the proper times that you need, then it's like, what can you do? You do kind of just have to buy your time in mid. You do have to kind of just, I don't know, do a little bit of a skirmish here and there before the clams can come back to you. So it just seems like Ultra Washed not only was really fast with offensive pressure, but they were really fast at picking up clams too. And it also, I mean, the key thing was getting Jade into position, as we could see their dominating presence on Scorch Gorge. I mean, once you could get Jade in the right position, that it was, I mean, it was all hands on deck at that point.
Nah, dude, I had to play against the pit team that Sully, the Squiffer player, was on at LCC, man, and that map is just nasty for Squiffer, especially, man. You pop bubble under the basket, and you just have so much free reign on that side of the map. It's ridiculous. And clearly, their Squiffer player was able to hit shots, and I just felt like that was kind of an unfortunate matchup there for the other team having to go against that, especially being down one game. But I just showing, hey man, Squiffer players are a real thing. I didn't believe in them until LCC, but man, I am a believer now.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to commentate over a fun match and you get to see maybe a weapon that truly gets to shine by the person that's wielding it, and it has to go like is it the weapon or is it the player kind of thing. And I don't know, man. Sometimes it's the player.
No, it's got to be the player, man. As a former low tier player myself and smashing it in Splatoon, man, like if you have someone that's that dedicated to that weapon, they really just know that matchup, which sometimes is hard, man. When you're going up against a matchup that you're not super familiar with, it sucks because the other person is always way better at that matchup than you are, and it's just challenging sometimes to deal with. Now, granted, there's a lot of other factors in that game, but I still feel like if you're going up against a low tier player and they're doing well, you got to be like, man, they know what they're doing, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what makes it so much fun to fight, is because like you can tell that this person has mastered their craft. Like it's the definition of mastering your craft. Like I feel that way when I get to watch you play Machine. I'm like, this man has mastered the craft. You've mastered the art of this weapon. Like and it's like the little things about it too, like how close how close you need to be, how far you need to be, how much damage like maybe one or two shots put onto somebody, even if it wasn't like a direct hit, you know. Like once you get good at it and then you find the more specific things about it, it really comes into like full perspective of how good people are with things.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the name of the game is all just knowing about what your weapon can and can't do. And the higher I get in this game, is the more I'm like, gosh, dang it! There are some people that are really good at their weapons, man. Like I was doing a scrim against Fusion, but we're not here to talk about me and my experience. We're here to talk to you about me to you, JoJo, and Axolotl Lite, which is going to be our next match there.
Okay, and I think we're finally out of round 2. We finished round 2. We're closing it out. The folks that have done round 2 have now moved on. I believe now we're in round 3. So me to you, JoJo, and Axolotl Lite made it from round 2 on to round 3. I want to update the bracket just for myself here to keep myself in the loop. So, yeah, Axolotl Lite went 2-0, crucial 2-0 over Nekomimi, which Nekomimi was a game ahead of them when we last looked at the bracket. So Axolotl Lite moving on. Me to you 2-0 over Neo's house. So me to you, JoJo versus Axolotl Lite on this bottom side of the bracket. And on the top side of the bracket, you have Ultra Washed, who we just got to hang out with on stream, versus Facing My Limits, who we also got to hang out with stream in the first round. So shaping out to be a pretty fun bracket here on the top side in the winners bracket.
Also, shout
The
out
winner
to
sides of things. Wait, go ahead. What?
all right, shout outs to the seeders. Always really good when you see again the top 4 seeds in the top 4 spots. Considering I think this is winner semis, I believe. So yeah, man, yeah, whoever seeded them, really good stuff to them. Also, Axolotl Light, man, got my boy Ader. I've known Ader for forever. This is their first Spanish-speaking team. Really excited for them. Rotsiv, crazy backline player. Obviously, Cali. Not super familiar with Mita Jojo, but I'm sure we are about to see them as I just got word where I think everyone's readying up right now. Going to get in the match soon.
Yeah, and I believe on Mediu Jojo, Z-Look is actually on the team. Overtime just recently being low ink band, making their splash into the mid-level scene. I think within the last month. So Z-Look on this pickup from Mediu Jojo, so we got some overtime representation there. But like you said, opening up the map here, we're on Crableg Capital. What are we playing? Are we playing Rainmaker? No, what are we playing? We are playing Rainmaker. It's in front of my face.
I was like, am I going blind or does that say Rainmaker right there? Hello?
Can't read.
All right, but a pretty standard comp coming out of the side of I'm going to say the teal team there. Again, Cali on the brush. I don't really see them play much else. Rotsiv on the pencil, man, that is nasty. Don't want to mess with that one, especially because there's no backline on the side of the pink team there. And you see in this first fight in mid, you already seen Cooler coming out from the other team there. You see Josiah on this right side trying to poke at people. Might go down to that bomb, just kidding. But another member on the side of, I believe that's Axolotl Light going to go down there. You see people trying to move over. That's a white!
Wow.
Axolotl, this should be their first checkpoint falling right now.
Yeah, easy checkpoint for Net to spend to take there with follow-up from Mocha coming in. Love to see a comp with a paintbrush and a stamper just absolutely do work here. So much melee weapon representation for Axolotl Light, but still 4 members alive on Mediu Jojo. Huge defensive pressure coming down. 2 members going down on Axolotl Light, which is going to be really major in preventing that push at the 51 mark from really taking any more damage. But as Z-Look does, as they do, they are a master sharker. They do it on overtime as well. Huge brush shark to be had there as Josiah looking to take the Rainmaker up just a little bit further. They are going to go into the trade, allowing an opening for Z-Look to get through here, but they're just going to try to snowball this as best as they can, OBT. But how can they when Ned gets pushed down? So the 27 is where Axolotl Light is going to stay.
Hey, you know, honestly, that was probably an accident, but that's kind of smooth, man. Touch the point where you get the points, and then just back up. Because, I mean, like, that now the other team has to get out of there and spend a lot of resources popping. But, man, right now, teal team has not been able to get off of their side of the plat. Also, I think the names are backwards again. I'm like 90% sure teal team is the Axolotl Light. But it doesn't matter. They still need to get on their side of the map as finally you're seeing the last Zap player back up, and now it is time for their Axolotl to try to push up here and get some points on the board.
Okay, perfect. So Axolotl Light are the ones that are on the back foot here as Mediu Jojo has gotten us down to the 27 mark here. And look at this, the jump coming in to help Z-Look out, but not when Ader's right there. Mocha almost making it out alive there. Ader getting a nice double splat in the midsection there. Axolotl Light now putting their best foot forward here, looking to see if they can get this Rainmaker pop, but still the delayed wipe is going to come out from Mediu Jojo as Mediu Jojo has that juice on their side and at their disposal. They are going to be now moving up onto that right-hand elbow side, looking to make contact with these strikes here to clear it out, but still the pencil's in a great position to respond here.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout outs to Z-Look on that one. That was entirely their fault. They were able to get a pick on the Rainmaker, and because everyone had to turn around into the Wails, man, and they had jumps in, they were able to actually keep the Rainmaker mid. And right now, man, Axolotl Light, 3 minutes into the match, still has 0 points on the board there, as you're seeing a couple members get picked off in mid here from Josiah. Showing off really why I think that Bucket, in my opinion, has really replaced Machine a lot. You're able to defend yourself a lot better, and you're able to get these quick picks on here. As you see again, me to you, Jojo, just trying to move up here. Stalling out the clock saying, hey, I got this huge advantage. We got checkpoint, man. You got to come to us.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Axolotl Light at this point has to be the ones on the forward foot because, I mean, Mediu Jojo's already made such a big impact here down at the 27 mark, and still Z-Look is looking to wreak havoc here. They are so quick at getting across those grates and being in this flat area of Axolotl Light here because look at the pencil. The pencil has no idea they're coming to get set up. They just didn't even get a chance to turn around. They almost escaped there, but Z-Look just still in a great position to cause absolute havoc for Axolotl Lite.
Yeah, they're saying OBC. I know that you know who Callies is. You got to look at me, bro. Z-Look basically just torrenting Rotsev on the pencil, man. I mean, Rotsev clearly knew someone was on the platform, but was not able to find him there. And Z-Look saying like, yeah, bro, I'm just here to do brush things. I'm just here to be a huge distraction, kind of burn some more time here. As a man, these matches are showing you only got 5 minutes to get it done, unlike a lot of other esports. And again, finally, Rotsev in a position to do this. You finally see 3 people now in their option checkpoint. Finally on the board.
Free! That was absolutely free for Rotsev to take that checkpoint there. Now getting Cooler out again, just delaying the pop just a little bit more. You can see all 3 members of Meteor Jojo now being called out, trying to get themselves spread out in a position to pop this Rainmaker, but the tri-strikes are going to be huge here to flush out the members of Axolotl Lite. So down to the 61 mark, however, Meteor Jojo, especially with a couple specials on their side and a couple of splats in their back pocket here with 15 seconds left to go, that's going to be a huge opening for them to try to get to this last checkpoint.
Yeah, and again, it may look kind of close on the board there, being that there's no checkpoint, but man, they only have 5 seconds to get to the Rainmaker and pop it. I don't know if they have what it takes, especially with the only 2 people being the brush and the pencil here, and I think that's going to be the end of overtime. They're not letting him pop it, and there it is. Yeah, man, absolutely. It's really interesting on that map, too, because I feel like normally, man, the pencil players just have so much advantage there. But I feel like on the side of Axolotl Lite, they just were not able to, again, get them set up in another position there. I think Saf is either doing something or they're dead, but it's okay.
You're doing something or you're dead.
It could be. My internet's kind of spooky sometimes, but that's okay. We are back, everybody.
Oh my gosh. I think that you missed me more than I missed you.
I love the internet. It's such a fun time to have. I was like, in my head, I was like, man, I hope my internet's good enough for this event today. But yeah, man, I felt like that first game was definitely, it was nice to see an even match after the first 2 steamrolls we saw in the first 2 sets. But I felt like, man, just a really, really hard time for Axolotl trying to get back into mid and get onto the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, but when you have somebody as aggressive as Z-Look on your side for me to you, Jojo, I mean, consistently, Z-Look is somebody that can infiltrate. Their specialty is infiltration. Consistently, they were getting behind enemy lines. They were waiting there for people to spawn back in. And like you said, a huge distractionary factor. So with something like Rainmaker, where you have to take something into these set positions, no matter what, like your end goal is always the same. I mean, they knew exactly where they had to be, but I think tower control is going to be the same way, especially on Hagglefish Market. These different checkpoints are set up in positions where, I mean, it's kind of just open season for a lot of backline usage and for, I mean, people that can be a little bit more tactful and sneaky going around into like the trench and ditch area and stuff. But I think with how Z-Look likes to play this game, that's, I mean, again, somebody that you're going to have to be really mindful and be looking out for, because they're going to consistently try to get behind enemy lines, and so you have to be watching your backside pretty much if you're Axolotl Lite.
Yeah, and it's hard because I feel like you can't stick the other brush player on that, because the other brush player wants to be really far forward on the other side of the map. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just have like building brushes going back and forth on the back line. And honestly, I just felt like, especially Meteor Jojo did a lot better job of playing together there, taking those fights together, which is, again, challenging to do sometimes on these pickups like it is. I know Axolotl Lite is like a decent amount of people from Axolotl, but there are still some other unknown factors. And like we talked about earlier, man, it's just hard sometimes to find other people's rhythms. But luckily, this set is at least a best of 5. So we get a lot more games to you, and it looks like we're going to get into game 2 on Hagglefish Market here.
Right, and it's like you said, like, we have time to make mistakes, we have time to correct, we have time to figure out something else that different works, we have time to figure out the system and perfect it. So Axolotl Lite coming out here with, yeah, like you said, a brush of their own. Z-Look also going to be still holding on to that brush. So similar comp on either side, you're just having that ZNF charger for Axolotl Lite being brought up here. So the tri-strikes going to be really helpful for opening up that tower area, but you still have tri-strikes with the bucket too. So similar, very similar firepower coming out from either side. Really, it's just going to come down to the player that uses it better.
Yeah, and again, you're already seeing Media Jojo pop. Again, all their specials is like Whales and also the wow, and the strikes now. Already winning that first team fight, and that's basically a delayed wipe. As you see, members already in the first 30 seconds onto their side of the plat, trying to get onto their clear. Whales coming out on the tower, Zuki coming out on the tower, but I don't know if it's actually going to reach them by the time this checkpoint is fallen. It's so hard. Tower control is such a range-based objective, meaning you have to be by the tower to actually stop it on this predetermined path. But man, that is kind of an explosive start for Media Jojo, saying, why were you? I am the second seed and you are the third seed. As again, Spen gonna get a nice Zuka pick here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, net spend, like you said, an explosive start indeed. Already back on the tower here, and that first checkpoint has fallen, so looking to try to get the second one. But still, statements that are being made, still in that pit area, in that court of Axolotl Lite, just consistent offensive pressure coming from Media Jojo. Tri-strikes coming out here to try to just prolong the tower from going back, but unfortunately it's back in the mid zone with 3 different members going down. So finally Axolotl Lite going to try to make some headway here. That Zuka's coming out, that juice has been drank by everybody on the team here. Plenty of paint to be going out, looking at the flank to try to make sure Media Jojo gets called out here, and it looks like that they have been, as those members did indeed jump back. So the lead now by Axolotl Lite going to be taken here, just teetering on that 1 point mark there. Don't really know what's going on over there, but the tower ends up ultimately being lost. A 1 point difference from Media Jojo.
You know, that's probably I didn't realize we were that close there. My bad is what's happening in the cons right there. I feel like they're so close there. And also nice to see, again, Callie, the other brush player, kind of get the spotlight there. As you see, Zila moving up through that strike's gonna go down in a trade there. But again, it's so hard with the advent of cooler, man. I just feel like those trades sometimes don't even matter, as both players are already back on into the game. You have 2 specials online on the side of Axolotl Lite. Callie's gonna get a nice pick on net spend there, looking to try to again take that 1 point lead back, and they are gonna go down to the Whales. A huge chip damage coming out on the other side of Zelux, saying, I am the brush player, look at me.
Yeah, look at the figure 8 that they drew on the ramp area there. Just, again, trying to be a distraction, taking a lot of the eyes away from the objective, but still Ratsov in a great position to follow up here with that ZNF charger. I need it as a straightaway there as those strikes come out to try to get net spend away from the tower, but it's not going to keep them away for long. The thing is, OBT, when you are somebody that plays a shot like net spend is, consistently your objective is just to be on the tower, and if you don't have somebody for like Axolotl Lite does that is going to challenge that and also be consistently a tower rider, then you have this snowball effect where we are now going into checkpoint number 2 for Media Jojo, with the tri-strikes coming out to try to follow up on the spawning area there, taking 1 down, looking to try to take another with the other specials that we keep seeing from Media Jojo, and still, again, that next checkpoint has fallen down to the 27.
Man, I feel like Z-Look is an absolute menace. They are living in this other team's head rent-free right now. It's crazy. They were alive for so long, just drawing so much attention, and during that time, they were able to break an entire checkpoint. And I feel like that is just classic brush play. Really good stuff to Z-Look, trying to take that nice pick coming out from Rostiv, and another pick coming out for Callie, as it means that we are finally able to get our drinks. And let's start moving up here, as again, there's really only 1 checkpoint dividing these 2 teams lead-wise, and a lot of resources online for Axolotl Lite. You got to see the well coming out. Callie trying to pull basically what Z-Look did earlier. Unfortunately, going to go get taken out, and that's going to be the end of their push, really, before it even gets started.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that Callie was trying to do a similar move to what Z-Look was doing, trying to go in for the flank, and ultimately a trade between the 2 brush players with less than a minute left to go in the game here. And 3 members of Media Jojo going down. So again, Axolotl Lite trying to get this push off the ground here, trying to get something initiated, as all the members of Media Jojo now coming back into the spawning area, but Z-Look having a great upper hand on the flank, finding 1, finding 2 spots, looking in for the 3rd. Here comes the jump from Callie again. Callie was in the game quick enough for Z-Look to get them twice. And finally, me and you, Jojo, following up, taking the tower back from the 52 mark. Still so many more points to make up. Not quite enough time to do it. Can Axolotl Lite find contact with Media Jojo here?
Man, I mean, that was just peak. I'm in the lead, very, very confident there. Just pretty much shutting down that push. And again, that is going to be a not very super awesome close game for Media Jojo. That's pretty dominant victory, especially in that last 30 seconds. They were really just able to, as soon as someone went down, move up very quickly and just start taking the picks there. And it's so hard sometimes. And I've been on the other side of that so much, where it just feels like you cannot get past that first checkpoint area. The other team is just always so good at shutting you down. And man, I feel like if I am on the side of Axolotl Lite, I'm thinking, man, what do we do about this? Because clearly what they've been doing has not been working out for them.
Right, and Midiu Jojo, I consistently having someone that can be so aggressive and so hyper vigilant on the flank too. It is such a crucial turning point for Midiu Jojo all the time. But it's not to say that Axolotl Lite isn't putting up a fight, because they are, and they do have somebody that's trying to like meet them there in that aggression. Because you saw, I mean, Callie also consistently was trying to flank and take Z-Look out and trying to meet them where they were at. So with something like Clamblitz, where like flanking isn't as impactful, you have to be a little more sneaky about it. You have to, especially if you're trying to infiltrate the base, you have to be a little bit more mindful, a little more sneaky about it. I'm wondering, do you want to keep the brushes here? Do you want to just try to be fast, like quick popping power, you get in, you get out kind of situation? Or do you want to, I don't know, maybe go with something with a little more paint? But that the thing is though, like Axolotl Lite has a lot of painting power, and still like Midiu Jojo has found a way to kind of swerve and go around that.
Yeah, man. And honestly, if I'm on the side of Midiu Jojo, I'm like, bro, clearly Z-Look going crazy tonight. Let's just keep Z-Look in on brush. Man, I don't know about the other side. And it's so challenging too, because I feel like when you have something like a brush or a carbon paired with an E-leader, you really just need the other people to kind of paint around them, work in tandem. And I just find that a lot of times, man, when I see Z-Look taking a fight, they got Wails on somebody, they have their team around, I'm just not seeing that energy match from Axolotl Lite right now. Whenever I see Callie, it's Callie by themselves and everyone else is kind of far away. And sometimes, man, it's just all about trying to get that charger to feel comfortable. And man, especially if I was Rostiv, I would not feel comfortable after that first game being harassed like that in my own base. And especially even that game, I felt like it was hard sometimes to see them get set up. I did not see Rostiv in a lot of really, really aggressive positions like I'm used to seeing from them. So I feel like, man, you got to find something. Now, luckily, this is a best of 5, so you do have one more game. And I'm expecting either they're going to double down or a pretty hard pivot from the side of Axolotl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if maybe the pencil is going to return as being the cooler weapon. However, I do think that Rotsev had really key tri-strikes consistently through that tower control game. I mean, they were stopping checkpoints. They were well, maybe not stopping, but they were delaying checkpoints consistently, but also delaying a lot of movement from Midiu Jojo. And I saw a squeezer coming out there, and oh my goodness, reflux. What?
You know, I hope Z-Look's not feeling too confident on that one. I mean, like, hey, you know, I've met some really great Reflux players. I am assuming that Z-Look is just going to do the exact same thing. Now they got Reef Slider on, you know, best special in the entire game. Going to be a nice pick coming out for Z-Look as we're talking about it. And again, I do like the pivot from Axolotl Lite, man. You see them pulling out the Squeezer, the Nautilus, and again, the Try, which I'm accustomed to seeing from Ader. So I hope we're going to get something done. And kind of a weird low left fight happening here on this left side. Not a whole lot of stuff, but man, the economy is very firmly inside of Axolotl right now.
Yeah, Axolotl's got it locked down so far, but still Net's been finding a really great infiltration and getting a nice splat there. And I mean, the middle section could not be more purple as Midiu Jojo still finding a lot of contact with the fights and being successful in the fights, even if the economy quite isn't on their side. However, the tides have changed really fast as they now have 7 at their disposal, trying to look in for a power claim here. Z-Look again, though, with the reflux, taking a lot of distractionary measures away from Axolotl Lite here, as finally Midiu Jojo is going to be breaking the basket first.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's going to look like it's going to be a basket open with not a lot of follow-up. As you see, Evil Mocha die in the middle of the air. Shoutouts to the Splatoon 3 netcode. But man, now you're seeing again, right just back to him, Axolotl like popping the whales, getting one down, moving up with the Zuka, got the ball up there, hoping to make something happen on this left-hand side. You see again, Angel with the squeezer player kind of taking a looks like more of that anchor role here, trying to just hold the ball, trying to get something together. But just like I was saying, man, they're having just a hard time pushing onto their side of the map, which is so hard sometimes. But man, Rotsev, a huge pick over here, gonna throw the storm in. This hopefully should be a basket open on the side of Axolotl.
Yeah, Rotsev getting in a higher up position with this Nautilus, trying to maybe get a little bit of poke damage done with the rain too, but Rotzev getting pushed down on that wall was going to be huge there. Angel has to majorly back up here as 2 different members of Axolotl Lite go down. I mean, honestly, just clearing and leading the way for MediaU JoJo to just completely flip the tides here as they are now getting comfortable in the base of Axolotl Lite, but still not enough clams to make a power. I guess there is enough, but there's just not really a power clam online quite yet. But even though there are specials to be had, but finally there, in a blink of an eye and you miss it. The basket now being opened by MediaU JoJo, and still so many specials online and a little bit of change too, as we finally enter the second half of the game here.
Ooh, nice backup Zuka there coming out from Angel. Love to see it. Just seeing that, yep, you're coming for me. I'm just going to back up, shoot you right in the face. But yeah, man, I felt like this has been a lot of like hype up and then not a lot of action. You saw there, I felt like there were so many clams on the side of MediaU JoJo. It just took them a long time to make the basket. Maybe that's, you know, it's just a sign of them being on a pickup. But now you see it is just the Zap Alive on the side of MediaU JoJo. Cali is going to very confidently open this basket and hopefully the start of a decent pusher from Axolotl. But I just feel like they're still having a hard time getting that really, really strong control. Hopefully going to see any kind of follow-up here from on the side of Axolotl. We're not going to. It's going to be a basket, and that's it.
Yeah, there was so much follow-up to be had, but there wasn't enough bodies to really do it. There were so many clams that were left behind from people of Axolotl Lite getting taken down there. So MediaU JoJo still having the upper hand here, having a really firm foothold on mid. Trying to look in and see if they can infiltrate once again on Axolotl Lite, but in doing so, leading to 2 different members losing their lives in the fight there. As still, Axolotl Lite does have a power clam online, now looking to try to change the script and see if they can infiltrate themselves. But how can you do that when you see that MediaU JoJo isn't going to be afraid to go down in the trades, and especially when you have the lead? I mean, you can feel a little bit more confident in doing that, but see Axolotl Lite, their offense now falling apart. MediaU JoJo now really flipping the script and going on defense.
Yeah, man, and again, really, really good wall. Z-Look's showing that I do play this weapon a lot, man. That was a confident wall to stand in front of the Nautilus. Not really a lot they can do there, and that was a really huge factor of why I felt like Axolotl could not get in. You're seeing the Zuka come out, not seeing a whole lot of movement outside of that. Evil Mocha just sharking here, saying, "You will come on this grate, and I'm going to get you right now. See, look at me." Until the whales come out. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of that. Really good displacement special coming out on the side of Cali. We're going to the last 30 seconds. And honestly, very tight match. It really could go either way if Axolotl is able to get a push going. They do get one down there. Angel, I think, trying to bait that out. Gonna go down to the reef slider, unfortunately. Just the wall, just a little bit too late.
Yeah, they got all the clams on their side, but they just need the opening. They really need a couple of key picks here, but the picks are just being brought onto them. 3 members of Axolotl Lite going down with only 10 seconds remaining, and a lot of follow-up to be had by MediaU JoJo already just infiltrating the base once again here and taking people out again. No power clam in sight for Axolotl Lite. That's going to be MediaU JoJo all the way down.
Yeah, and honestly, unfortunate. I felt like Axolotl had a control for a decent control part of that map. It's just so unfortunate they were just not able to commit and get the basket open. And it's so hard when you, with Clam Blitz in particular, you really only have a few options, a few opportunities to get the basket open. And sometimes you really just gotta say, "I'm gonna go down, but at least I'll get the basket open." And now we can actually start scoring points. So that's kind of a unfortunate defeat on the side of Axolotl. I felt like it was just the set of just could not get anything rolling there. I felt like the ball, they were always just trying to push it, and they would come right back at them, kind of like Sisyphus there. So I don't know what the solution was, but hey, MediaU JoJo saying, "I am the superior 2nd seed to your 3rd seed. I'm moving on to probably fight, I don't know who, maybe Ultra Wash in the winners finals here."
Yeah, exciting wins by MediaU JoJo. Axolotl Lite definitely didn't give them an easy fight by any means, but on the other side of bracket OBT, crucial game 5 set happening between Ultra Rosh and Facing My Limits. So MediaU JoJo will be playing the winner of whatever set, whoever wins that set, but that crucial game 5 happening over on that side of the bracket there. But with Axolotl Lite being knocked down into the loser side of the bracket, they will be going up against WD-40, whom knocked out $5 Pickup, who we saw earlier on the stream, knocked them out 2-0. So going to be facing Axolotl Lite down below there, and then Neko Mimi and Neo's House facing each other too, as well on the loser side of bracket. So looking to shape up and be a really fun time. On the other side of bracket, though, we've seen both teams on stream before. No strangers.
Yeah, we're getting to that part of the bracket where it's going to be a repeat no matter what it is. But I am excited to see what both teams are, because I feel like both teams that are going to come out in this finals are playing hot today. Especially because, man, that is a pretty decently competitive set, man, between Ultra Wash and Facing My Limits, it looks like. So we hopefully should be getting the victory of that here pretty dang soon. But yeah, man, I just feel like this is, again, shout outs to the scene people already looking good for y'all, especially if Ultra Wash is able to get this game 5. It's really just interesting. I felt like there's been so much aggression on all three of the sets, really, that I've been watching. A lot of teams just kind of getting that advantage, moving up straight forward, and trying to just take it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. Especially like facing my limits consistently on tower control have been super dominant. Ultra Washed had a really dominant set with $5 burger. I mean, it was a no-brainer for that set. It was a 2-0 sweep, like easy 2-0 sweep. So I mean, and then Mediu Jojo versus Axolotl Lite. Axolotl Lite consistently was having breaks in the system where they couldn't get something going. And Mediu Jojo just would have impenetrable offense. So it's one of those things where you have three teams that like to move fast coming together, but it's just who can move faster, who can outpace the other.
Yeah, and I also think it's really, really hard with this double elimination format just to try to get it going. I mean, it's just you're playing for skins pretty much at all times.
Right.
And I also find that a lot of times you do see a lot of 3-0s or 2-0s in the earlier to mid part of the brackets. And it's so hard too, because it's not like a round robin where you get to say pretty, fresh, or there's a chance you could find someone that's maybe a lot lower seed than you. But everyone in this bracket's pretty dang good, and you're fighting strong people pretty much every round. Which is also sometimes why it's challenging for teams to want to do stuff like this and Proving Grounds or like Triton Cup. Just because I feel like you aren't always guaranteed games. Like you really could go 0-2 at some point. Especially with the worst one that happens to me, man, is when you get the 0-2 with no games taken. I mean, you didn't win a single game and you're out in like 30 minutes. Especially if you're like me, man, person that's really busy and you allot time to this, you don't get anywhere. So it's this double elimination format. I really do think tests teams, and I really feel like a lot of times the stronger team prevails, and you do see those consistently strong teams making it pretty far in the bracket.
I really appreciate you sharing that experience, because I felt that in my bones, like playing a tournament for only 30 minutes and being immediately knocked out. Like, that just really sucks, and it feels like you're not seeing progress when that happens.
Yeah,
and
I just feel like it's hard sometimes to do that. And that's why I think, man, if you're entering like PG or Neon Wail, you're like, okay, we're feeling good. Scrims are going good. Maybe some of those other tournaments are going good, and you're going there for the glory. You know what I mean? Like you're going out there. It's almost like a test, less like a necessarily a learning experience. And I also think, comp is really about how you shape it. If you're going out there and say, hey, let's just see how good we're doing. This is more of like a benchmark kind of thing, as opposed to I'm going in this expecting a lot of games, kind of like you get in like SOS or some of the other tournaments, especially like Low Ink. I know this is a prerequisite kind of tournament, but I feel like it's all about how you do it. And I mean, I've been there, man. I'm from the Smash community. I joke with all the former Smash people. Like, man, something about going and paying like $10 or $15 to go 0-2 for like a month and a half or however long, it really changes you. And you got to really want it to come back. And the Splatoon community is really, really, I'm going to say, lucky that they don't have that experience. Especially there's no monetary or financial stake in this at all. I mean, I'm so used to it, especially being like an 0-2er for forever in Smash. And I think it's a really awesome part of the community, the fact that there are like limited tournaments and there's tournaments that have guaranteed sets. I think it's a really awesome thing. But unfortunately, that is not what we're here today to do. This is Neon Wail. I mean, it's a pretty mid-level, high-level focused tournament. So I think the people here, like I said, man, they're playing for skins, are testing their might.
Yeah, I mean, they're not proving their ground, because that's happening on Sunday.
I stopped myself saying they're proving their ground.
That's on Sunday. They can do that on Sunday, but today the Wails, they're pitching our neon, the color of neon. Could you imagine? Are you into neon lights? You seem like you would like neon lights.
Hey, I think neon lights are cool. I know they're really like, it's whatever with the gases, man, in there. But I think neon lights are really cool. I think the arbor's cool. I loved the Octo expansion. I thought the aesthetic was really tight. So yeah, you caught me.
I feel like you would have one in your classroom.
Unfortunately, with music classrooms, you can't really do things because there's just so much crap on the wall. Anyone that's in the chat that's a musician will know. By golly, there's so much stuff in there. If I was a regular teacher, oh yeah, I would deck that out, bro. And I just think it's a really cool aesthetic, man. And I think the term neon whale is really cool. So I feel like neon lights, man. You definitely got me there. I just feel like I love colors. Like I have a mandala in front of me right now.
I
Like I
love
just love.
colors.
Dude, colors are so cool. That's another reason why I came back to Splatoon community, man. I can't play like Counter Strike where everything's like dark and dreary. Like I gotta have the colors on it. I'm a really colorful person. I wear a lot of floral like outfits, IRL. So I just feel like, man, life's too short not to have a bunch of colors. It really
That's
is.
so true. That's so true. I loved your floral outfit
Ah,
at LTC. I loved it so much. And your like earring. Oh my god, I think about her. I
I'm
think
like,
about
hey,
her.
I spent a lot of time on that. It's never too late, y'all, to start dressing nice. I started dressing nice probably about like 2-3 years ago, and it can happen to you. Hey, I
That's
just saw
so
on the
true.
bracket. We finally have a victor there. It's going to be facing my limit. Must have been a very close game 5 there. So we're going to
Oh
see again
wow.
the 2nd and 4th seeds squaring off, facing my limits versus me to you, JoJo, in just a few moments while they're getting that kind of kicked off there.
Wow. Crucial game 5 between Ultra Rush and Facing My Limits. So Facing My Limits, moving on, we're going to be seeing them again. Ultra Wash being knocked back down into the losers bracket. So they're going against whomever is winning the set between Nekomimi and Neo's house, and then below that, Axolotl Lite versus WD-40. So that'll be getting started pretty soon here. But for us, I believe on this side of the bracket, or this side of the universe, of the Neon Whale universe, we have Facing My Limits and Me to You JoJo, who we've both seen both of them on stream at this point. Like we said, both very aggressive teams. Both have folks that are willing to just kind of get in there and get down and dirty with it. So it's just going to be a matter, I think, of who's faster? Question mark.
Yeah, man. Also, shout outs to Facing My Limits with their team tag. You know, I feel like that's very funny with the team tags. I was talking to someone at LTC, and they said the Alberta like community is called the Alberta Squid Swamp, which yeah, you can abbreviate on your own time for that one. But I feel like it was one of those things I saw that I was like, seriously, y'all, I cannot believe that. Also, shout outs to Facing My Limits for having the hit artist Lil Nas X on their team. I can't believe they play Splatoon. I was
Wow,
unaware of this.
that's like when Lana Del Rey was playing in Super Jump. That was so crazy.
Hey, you know, I'm glad to see Splatoon hitting the mainstream. You're getting those artists involved. You know, Lil Nas X, if you're watching, bro, I love your content, love your songs. Waiting for another album if you got one in the works. I would love to know about it, but
He loves
yeah.
colors.
Oh yeah, hey, Lil Nas X, that album, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the most recent one, it was just really, the album artwork is awesome. I love album artwork too, really underrated genre. But hey, looking like again, pretty normal lineup of maps. You got Rainmaker, Crableg, TC Haggle, Clan Blitz, Robo, Mahi Stones, and Rainmaker Undertale. Also, Saf, I gotta ask, do you think we're gonna see people start playing on those 2 maps that announced they were getting reworks?
I usually hope that whenever a map gets announced for a rework, it makes me want to think that it gets revisited for different comp reasons. And I would be honestly stunned and amazed if these maps got reintroduced because of their fixes, because I think it's very rare for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm honestly like, hey, sometimes those maps are unsavable. You have designed the map in a way that you cannot, adding one more pole or another corner to the map is not going to fix that. And you know, I'm a map hater, just so everyone knows. I'm like, dude, that map is bad for a reason. You cannot just put something there. Hammerhead Bridge, I don't know if you can save her. I just feel like they're too far gone already. Like I just don't know.
I don't know. I appreciate Splatoon 1 Hammerhead Bridge, to be fair. That was fun and a good time, and I miss her, and maybe we'll see her again. I would like to think that we could have that type of variety in our lives. We have the technology.
Hey man, you know, I just feel like it's sad when they reintroduce a map but completely change it. Like I feel like this is Hammerhead Bridge in name only. Like it's really just a really long map, and I guess that was a feature of a Hammerhead Bridge. But I mean, like, I was like, bro, how are you gonna call this with like no grades at all? I mean, I get it, the bridge is done. You know, lore wise, it works out.
Yeah, do
But I
you
was
know how
like,
time works?
maybe that's what you sound like. All right. Don't, don't
Do
you
you have a
time work
watch?
me.
What, do you have a watch? Can you tell time? Do you not know? Do you not know how time works?
Hey, fun fact, I'm right-handed and I wear my watch on my right hand because when I played tuba, it would always hit my stupid bell when I had it on my left hand. So I had to move it to my right hand. I've just never gotten away from that. So I do have a watch even though I wear it on the incorrect hand, all right? So bite me.
I mean,
Speaking of
okay.
time, this is taking forever. My good golly gosh. I mean, thank you. It's starting now according to the people on high. Sorry, Sam, didn't mean to cut you off. Oh, bruh.
Okay. That well, gotta appreciate that when production catches that before it happens. So finally, okay, going against Mediu Jojo and facing my limits. Facing my limits now coming back to the screen. We're inviting you back to the screen. Look at this change up from Z-Look. Now they are running the custom blaster. Hello?
Opening Gambit Custom Blaster. That's scary, bro. I would not want to mess with that. D-Look just saying, I'm going to play the exact same role, and whatever's in my hand is like really, it just does not matter, bro. I'm going in there. I'm going to be the point of contact. Going to grab this cooler, throw a point sensor. Hopefully, probably going to dive on this right side. D-Look getting a pick there on the left-hand side, and now these people are points so they know exactly where they are. I think this is going to be another person on the side of FML going back. They're saying, get me out of here. I do not want to fight the Wrath of D-Look here. As you see Netspin trying to move up, trying to get a pick here.
Yeah, FML, they just had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but finally changing the script here, finding some points on the tower, looking to try to take some fights, looking to get some 2v1 fights going as two members of Mediu Jojo go down. That cooler, or excuse me, the Trizuka now being popped. You can see the Wiper trying to find comfort underneath the ledges here as the first checkpoint has now been made contact with, and now the stamp being online too. Maybe just waiting to try to throw it, but quick to try to call out the flank. Look at that, but Z-Look's still finding success in finding the pick. I mean, Mediu Jojo, you got to be watching them if they're coming in on the flank. Wow, what a splat though from Cyan right there.
I'm sure every stamp user in the world just collectively grimaced at that. Right when you pop stamp, you get directed by the blaster. That's really, really unfortunate. Again, boo bad special. FML trying to move up here. They do have the checkpoint. Nice pick coming out from the Wiper here. As you see them doing what Wipers do best, poking at that ledge, just trying to find some collateral damage. Gonna go down though to the other AoE side, which is Z-Look on that blaster. Gonna continue to keep their opening game alive. Medi trying to pop Zuka here from kind of an awkward position, trying to find a pick onto Drake there. Nice pick, always good to target the cooler there. And you see, man, I feel like, man, Mediu Jojo's been playing good, but they just cannot get out of their base right now.
Yeah, Medi's taking shelter in the base now as three different members of Mediu Jojo go down. They're immediately back in though, and having space to retreat at that as FML Irolus, I don't know what it says, finds a really nice pick there. And we're entering now the second half of the game and still facing my limits, just at home in the base of Mediu Jojo, but finally infiltration happening for Mediu Jojo on the right-hand side here as bombs are now being thrown out into mid, a lot more paint being thrown out into mid, the cooler now being thrown out into mid here. Finally trying to find some follow-up for Mediu Jojo as the tower now trickling its way towards the first checkpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very hectic match right now. You can see the spectator cam was having a hard time finding anyone alive, really. Looking like it should be a pretty easy checkpoint here on the side of Mediu Jojo. Really approaching that lead switch potentially, but as I say that, the Zipcaster gets taken down, and these people are going to be collapsed on screen. A very clean team fight coming out of facing my limits. I mean, that is just textbook. I want to like zoom in on that, do the ESPN graphics. I mean, you saw them get the advantage there and just completely surround the people on Mediu Jojo. And now you see Cyan gonna be completely called out and taken out by Z-Look there, saying like, I saw you get up there, bro. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and but perfect space though for Medi to try to follow up with the Trizuka there, finding Z-Look immediately and taking them out. Just kind of a tit-for-tat trade situation with both of these teams right now. As, I mean, the points are really close. It's a minute and some change left in the game, and it's still anybody's game, really, as just one false move could really, really change the tides for one team, depending on what happens. But now on the left-hand side, finally Drake being taken down here, Medi finding contact with the tower, Facing My Limits is still going to try to maintain it in their control. However, finally, that net spend from me to you, Jojo, this is the one that you got to be mindful of who is going to be trying to ride this tower here. I mean, they haven't really been as present on the tower as they were in the previous game that we got to watch them with. However, still with that cooler being online, they are going to be more mindful of trying to take fights and being a little more forward in trying to take fights.
Yeah, and again, you've seen them pop that Zipcaster in the base. This hopefully should be a lead change. Shout out to the Stamford player sitting on tower, even though they have Zipcaster there. You're going to be a team player, as again, this can be a very easy checkpoint. Man, this is not where you want to be if you're facing My Limits. Kind of stuck in a stagger here in the last 30 seconds. The other team is approaching your last checkpoint here. And again, 3 people down on the side of Facing My Limits. I don't know if anyone's going to be alive even to contest this checkpoint. And we might be seeing a last 15-second knockout as the tower is ticking down in the single digits here.
Yeah, Facing My Limits, though, trying their best to collapse back in onto Me to You, Jojo, but not really having the space to do it. 3 different members of Me to You, Jojo going down. Finally, an overtime will be initiated here by Facing My Limits, but man, OBT, what a mountain to have to climb here.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are thinking, okay, the bucket's down, we don't have strikes, but by the time they get to that checkpoint, I guarantee that bucket player will have strikes. Even though bucket doesn't always have the best painting power for the special, I feel like, and there it is, strikes are online. I feel like they might have wanted to save that Kraken just to make sure they could have someone on tower. Evil Josiah is hanging out being like, yeah, once you get to the checkpoint, I'm going to strike in, then I'm going to go touch the tower. And there it is, the GG strikes coming out. I don't know if anyone's going to be home. Evil Josiah going to slip in there and touch the tower to end the game there.
No, I clenched, my whole body clenched there for a second. I actually thought they were going to be able to clutch that out because it didn't seem like the tri-strikes had made as firm of contact with the tower as they could have. It seemed like they were kind of thrown in front of it / behind it, so not fully covering it like it could have. So I was kind of hoping for Facing My Limits there to try to take it all the way to the end, but still dominating fashion from Me to You, Jojo, once again.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the meta changing from people being like, I'm going to use Booyah Bomb or like Zuka on Machine to back to the bucket with the strikes, is that like it makes the games like tower control feel really impossible. It's kind of like before they nerfed Kraken, when someone had a 96 or God forbid 2 Krakens in Clan Blitz, and especially if it was like Ichigo, someone that really plays it, it was so hard mentally to get past that, knowing like, dude, if we got to make an overtime push, there's no way we're going to get past that.
Right. And it's
I feel
so
like,
challenging.
Yeah, I just feel like it's really, really hard with a special like that. I mean, I remember you were around and I was around for like the end of like Ray and Rainmaker. That was really terrible, man. Just stuff like that. It was just like, it's just almost like completely just game over. And even though they were playing pretty well, getting that tower moving to their side of the map, I just feel like it was so hard to deal with that. Pretty much GG special, like I said.
Yeah, and I feel like there is a way around the GG special. I think it takes time and it takes a lot of synergy to figure out what that is. But I feel like it's doable, and especially if you can take the appropriate steps to try to shut it down before it could really, be a detriment to you. And I think, like, with moving into the next game here, especially knowing that Me to You, Jojo, still the bucket, like, regardless of the GG special, was still a very strong bucket, which I believe that was Josiah.
Evil Josiah, excuse me.
Yeah, evil. Oh, sorry.
All right, Josiah's on break, bro. This is Evil Josiah.
Unlike Josiah, Evil Josiah is evil.
Speaking of evil, man, that is a nasty comp on the side of the blue team. A lot of AoE, and again, you got that Zap just pumping out coolers, pumping out paint. Net's been obviously going to go for that first round cooler just so they kind of are juiced up for this first fight. And again, pretty dang traditional double Zuka comp coming out on the side of Facing My Limits. I feel like that comp has fallen off just a tiny bit with less people playing like double shot and shot machine. But there it is, the cooler coming out from Netspin, allowing people like Drake to try to move in here, try to get the pick there. Zuka coming out from the yellow team, another Zuka coming out for the yellow team. And that is going to be the start of a team fight loss on the side of Me to You, Jojo, with one player going down. Make that 2 players going down into a trade.
Yeah, Facing My Limits already being pushed back full throttle from Me to You, Jojo here. A lot of subs coming out, kind of passively throwing some suction bombs here. Netspend finding a really nice pick on somebody from Facing My Limits. However, still going down into the trade here, that cooler is going to come out, but nobody there to enjoy it as Drake is going to be caught out alone. They did, however, swipe the cooler and were able to escape, in fact, back to their teammates unscathed. However, right into the landing point, they were taken down, but an awesome 3 members down from Facing My Limits down to meeting Jojo. I mean, OBT, I didn't even see what happened. I blinked and then there was just 3 X's. They were X'd out.
I know, man. That was quite unfortunate there for the yellow team. I know, dude. I was like, it's looking a lot more like that Drake and Kendrick beef, man. I feel like that guy just thought he was safe, and then he landed and a bomb took him out. Hey, this is going to be Zila trying to push this back here, looking for another pick, trying to make the power clam also. Nice splash down to live there. Going to drop the clam. Hopefully, yep, there's that player picks up, and that's going to be a basket open on the side of Media Jojo.
Yeah, Netspend following up here, throwing the cooler down, refreshing, coming down from everybody across the board, down to the 65. Still a lot of follow-up to be had with 3 minutes left in the game here. People trying to drop down into the pit, getting a little bit scrappy, trying to hold this position. 53 points for Media Jojo. No more clams additionally to try to follow up here, as still the man advantage is on Media Jojo's side. As you can see, Drake is just not leaving the base here. Maybe trying to wait for some mates to follow up, perhaps maybe jump in with that additional pity clam. And already you can see Media Jojo just spreading themselves out here to try to face the coverage of Facing My Limits. But with that Trizuka there to mop and clean house, Facing My Limits finally making their way back into mid with a power clam online. Can they break the basket open here?
Honestly, really good stuff to Facing My Limits there. Clean shot from Cam, coming to take that. And again, it was nice to see as soon as they got that, they were on their side of the map. Unfortunately, decided not to pull the trigger on the basket open with 2 power clams. And now you're kind of seeing the fallout from that. You're having to get off a lot of space here. People are jumping in, but man, they've already gotten the retake in the mid. So unfortunately, they decided not to do that. But hey, they still have 2 minutes in here. Not a terrible, terrible deficit to try to come back from. But they do need to start making something happen here.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to take the fights where they can on this platform here, but Media Jojo having such a firm foothold, so much cave to be thrown down here, not a lot of space for Facing My Limits to really work with here, kind of getting pigeonholed and bottlenecked back into the basket area. As you can see, Midi having that target on their back, immediately taken down by the members of Media Jojo. Still, though, an equivalent trade of 2 for 2 here. I mean, the score says that Media Jojo's got it, but the splats, OBT, the splats are still saying otherwise.
Yeah, and again, just kind of took too long, and unfortunately, that's going to be another basket open on the side of Media Jojo here. Not a whole lot of follow-up here. You're really just seeing Ziluk as trying to go for a lot of the picks here. As you see, 3 members go down on the side of Facing My Limits. Now this is really bad, trying to get the clams in. You see Netspend going back, trying to find some clams, just trying to stall it open as much as possible. Zipcaster coming out. Man, this is just disastrous right now for the side of Facing My Limits. I would not want to be them right now.
Yeah, and I consistently, again, coming down to those clam spawns, right? They were just consistently throwing those 3 in that were close to them, leaving enough time to get a few more in there. Now down to the single digits here. This is not looking good for Facing My Limits. And still the man advantage being had from Media Jojo. 2 more power clams in possession. Not enough space to work with, though, to infiltrate and get them to make contact with the basket. Still, though, down to the single digit here for Media Jojo as we enter 30 seconds left into the game.
This map is really challenging, and I mean, that's why it's getting reworked. There's not a whole lot of places that are safe to drop once they are in, as far as Media Jojo are kind of crossing that uninkable area. And getting, especially control your pit, you really got to make sure you're dropping with specials and just trying to fight that out. But man, all Media Jojo has to do is what they've been good at, which is just keep them staggered in this last 10 seconds. You see Ziluk just trying to burn as much time and resources. Can they get the quad here on screen? No, finally, that Wiper is going to be able to find the pick onto the blaster there, but it doesn't matter as there's just no one left alive, really, to try to get this basket open. Even if they did, they would have such a mountain to climb.
Yeah, that's a lot. Pretty much 0 to hero with the amount of clams they would need to follow up to actually get the lead to flip here. But, you know, still maintaining that they were not going to be knocked out here, but a dominating fashion of clam blitz from Media Jojo before we get this rework on Barnacle and Dime.
Yes, I mean, that's a classic example. I mean, I know they added an area to the side. It's just so hard to get out of their base there. You really got to make sure, like I said, man, drop them specials. It's just hard because once you commit to that pit area, you were stuck there. You're either going to come out a champion or die horribly. Like, there's really no other outcome, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's pretty. The both of the extremes are represented when you decide to go into that pit area. But still, Meteor Jojo still quick on the draw, quicker on the draw. Again, Zlook consistently being on the flank, not shy from taking any fights from anybody, and facing my limits, having to switch people in and out a little bit to try to supplement the different fighting techniques coming from Meteor Jojo, but just still falling short a little bit. So now at match point once again with me to you, Jojo, facing my limits, what do we want to change moving forward here, moving into a game 3? Which I
Yeah,
believe
man.
is on Splatzone's Crab Leg, I believe is what we're doing next.
Yes, that is correct. Another kind of like solid map here. It's nice, honestly. I know that with the new map coming out and these reworks, it's been pretty nice to see a somewhat consistent roster of maps appear. I like go through the maps. I'm like, hey, you know that makes sense. I like these. These are pretty normal, especially post LTC. I feel like LTC had a lot of these maps on there. But yeah, man, if I'm facing my limits, this is the part of the time where it's like, hey, game 3, something's not working. Let's just try to pivot, go for broke here. And I just hopefully they're able to go pedal to the metal and just kind of try to capitalize on that more. It's just so hard, man. I talk a lot about the mental game with people that are like new to competitive, but it's really challenging sometimes to convince yourself that just because it's going badly, it doesn't matter. We can still take this. We have another game, and it's just hard to convince yourself that it's safe to move up. You know, you can move up. You can just pull the trigger, open that basket, push that objective. But it's really, really hard. And I think this really tests a lot of teams is can you come back from a 2-0? Because, man, anybody can win. Anyone can 3-0, whatever. But only the best of the best are able to reverse sweep like this. So hopefully facing my limits, able to kind of collect themselves and find an answer here in game 3. Man, I just don't know what that is, though, on this map.
I know the mental fortitude to get yourself into a position to go into a reverse sweep is so hard and major, and you really got to make the right steps to do that before you even start. And so facing my limits, they are going to be pulling out a crab tank here. They're going to maintain the wiper and they're going to maintain the machine with some sort of Trizuka. So we are going to maintain some sort of Trizuka weapon. We don't want to put that one away just yet. However, me to you, Jojo, looking to close this one out quickly, and what better way to do that than to put Zlook back on that paintbrush, put them back on that mobile weapon to get them to a bunch of places at once here. But instantly, 2 members from me to you, Jojo, going down, facing my limits, having a great opening here to try to get some points on the board. But still, as quick as they were able to do that, 3 of them go down and wipe.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see if you're facing my limits. Just like you said, they finally got advantage. Everyone's back. Bomb pick on the dualies there kind of spiraled into, they lost the team fight, a delayed wipe there. And now, man, all they got to do is you see Zulu back on this brush trying to just outmaneuver people. Going to take one with them. And now it is just Netspin here, the Zap, trying to get out of there. They're probably going to end up jumping here because they got the cooler, and they are out of there. Instant transmission, and now it is complete opposite. You're seeing Face My Limits try to test their holding as more people are just dropping and jumping.
Yeah, this becomes a really challenging position for me to use Jojo, because it's like, where do I drop that could actually be safe? Where can I gain access here? And especially with the amount of range that the Wiper has and all of the bombs that Facing My Limits has. However, finally, successful infiltration by me to you, Jojo, finally switching the tides, flipping the script here, now having the zone back into their possession. Just really close, though. Very, very close in points to Facing My Limits here, with considering the penalty and how many points there are. But now that the penalty's gone for me to you, Jojo, they're going to try to widen the gap here. Is again Zlook trying to bring the fight to them with follow-up from Josiah. Perfect timing on those tri-strikes through 2 to try to cancel out that crab tank there. But still, KM not finding as much value as they were hoping for.
Yeah, and again, I feel like Evil Josiah really doing a really good job showing that you don't always need to push up super, super far. Sometimes it's a lot of just about holding space, holding specials, and punishing people when they drop into you. And yes, Facing My Limits was able to get a cap there, but I don't know if they're really going to get much more than that. You're going to see the last member there jumping out, and it is back to square one, unfortunately, for Facing My Limits. And how do you get back in the zone, especially with, again, the Josiah just holding the top left, holding the strikes down, deciding to burn them, going to try to punish people with having to drop here. 1 strike on the crab, got another one with the bomb, and it is just those 2 people on the left side, 2v2 here.
Yeah, but I mean, open season for that, though. Zlook kind of left an open path there, but still not going to turn around when that jump comes in. Thankfully, though, when you have that drop roller, that's going to save you a little bit of time there, taking Z-Look out of the process, but still, facing my limits going to eliminate this penalty here as two members of Midiyu Jojo go down. This is an ideal situation for facing my limits to try to change the tide of the game and get this reverse sweep started here. A really crucial trade happening below on the drop there. Drake trying to break in OBT. This is going to be major for facing my limits if they can hold it down.
Man, shout outs to that splash damage buff. They're going to just completely just zoom through and just demolish that crap. And the 1 point save also coming out from the side of Midiyu Jojo. I mean, they are down but not out. Still 90 seconds left in this game. As you see, it's going to have to be another retake, though, from facing my limit. And I just don't know if they got it in the tank still.
I mean, I don't know. They've consistently shown that they can still break back in. They can find a way to break through to the other side. And what better way to do that but to open with Trizuka, have that stamp online as well. Finally, 3 members of Midiyu Jojo going down, but still not without trading 2 of your own as they flip the tide and take the zone back into their favor. But immediately, like you said, it's a battle of the cooler, because as quickly as you're down, you're back in and taking the trades that you don't want to be having. You want to be holding on as best you can and moving forward, but you can't do that with cooler.
Yeah, man, and I just feel like, wow, really good pick. I just feel like they just cannot get this established. You keep seeing the zone go back to flipping, and unfortunately, when that happens, you get to see exactly what it is now. Another recap with very low penalty on the side of Midiyu Jojo, and now they just got to run at the zone, try to make any kind of desperate last-time push here, see if they can just try to cap it. But, man, it is going to be so tough, especially with 3 of them going down. That's going to be the 3-0 from Midiyu Jojo.
What a closing. That was a really awesome closing splat to get on the webcam there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really dominant statement saying, hey, you might have been close to the beginning, though, but we got you, bro. That's a 3-0. Going to be moving on to the winner side of Grands here. I mean, hey, if I'm facing my limits, they will be facing their limits in the losers bracket, but going to have to work really hard to get that rematch versus Midiyu Jojo. And I think we are going to go probably down to the lower side, which is looking like losers semis there for WD-40 and Ultra Washed.
Yeah, see, WD-40 was down, but they are definitely not out. They're having the losers run of their lives, currently almost sweeping the losers run. They got a 2-1 win over Axolotl Lite. And as you said, they're playing Ultra Wash versus them, and facing my limits will be fighting whoever comes back through here. But Ultra Wash, they might get a run back with facing my limits. It's possible if they might get the salty run back if they're able to defeat WD-40. However, WD-40 is looking pretty strong based on the past results. But up on the top here, Midiyu Jojo going to be moving on into grand finals. So whoever is the victor with facing my limits, whether it's WD-40 or a run back from Ultra Wash, that will be the one to face Midiyu Jojo again, potentially in grand finals. So you got the same 3 folks that are just trying to duke it out for a seat at the next seat in grand finals.
Yeah, and again, I feel like WD-40 is really on kind of a hot streak. I feel like when you get Loving Band, you got a lot of just, I don't really know these teams. I don't know who's hard. It's kind of like a lot of, not necessarily beginner's luck, but just kind of like ignorance of like, you see everyone is defeatable. You just had this really big moment for yourself. And I feel like, man, WD-40 taking out Axolotl, that's a pretty big W for them. So I'm happy for them, and I hope that they continue on this winning streak. Post winning Low Ink, one of the, I think, hardest tournaments to win in the scene right now.
True and real, but you know what? For all of us here at Neon Wail, that's going to be it for me and OBT tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. Shout out to IPL for having us on the mic tonight, but we're going to be passing it off to IMAD and Jake. We're going to be following it up and closing it out with you tonight. But OBT on the interwebs, if I'm going to open a web page, Internet Explorer is opening up right now. I got it on the line. I got Internet Explorer on the line. Where could I find you?
I don't know why you're opening Internet Explorer, but you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Obese Tyrese. That's my full gamer tag there. I stream occasionally. I have some occasionally okay tweets, so you can find me there. Where can the people find you, Saf?
At Safirea, that's 2 P's, 2 A's, at Safirea on Twitter, or on Twitch, you can find me at Safirea, but I don't really stream as much anymore. But, you know, you could also find me running the stream at Sea Battle in July on the 20th. You can also find me doing that, and and among other things. Among other things. I like
Well,
to be
hey,
ambiguous, but anyways.
it has been a blast commentating. We will talk to you all later, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neon Whale. Welcome back for the break. It's a short break. We have already swapped off. It is I, Mad Gamer II, joined by the amazing Jake Groot. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm Matt. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing just fantastic. Happy to be commentating and watching some Splatoon. Happy for the weekend. Happy for the extended weekend.
Definitely, I know a lot of people are also excited for this extended weekend, and also the fact that we've got we've got this new season coming out, but we're getting into this match very quickly here. As you see here, we got the 52 gallon the edit coming out from the orange team. On the blue team, we also see an edit. It's a very interesting comp from both sides here.
Oh, indeed, yeah. So like we have the edit on both sides. That is an interesting pick. But then the one team is pairing the edit with the Squiffer. You don't see that too often. It's going to be the Bubbler Squiffer as well, not the Zipcaster. There we go. I could think of it.
Yeah, I mean, the bubble is a very underrated pick, especially against the current Zuka meta here. But as we see, one going down on the side and that crab popping out on the side of orange team here. They're getting a good push. They have the ball. Will they be able to score it in there?
Indeed, like they're just like right on the pressers, right on that front door, but just because of how many members are alive, they're just not able to get to the basket, not able to get it open. And then they go and lose their Squiffer as well, but they do trade it out for the Carbon, so it's just kind of like that give and take right now. They're just not finding that opening that they need to get in, but maybe this is it right here, because Cooler is going to be popped, but perhaps it might be just a time to regroup. It's difficult to get into this basket.
Yeah, and they're definitely doing well holding the fort down. One going down on the side of WD-40 here. But they are able to get that ball in, and at this point the floodgates are pretty much open. 2 down, 3 down on the side of Mediu Jojo, and that's gonna open those floodgates even more. They're going to get multiple claims and getting the score all the way down to 65.
Oh yeah, and we're seeing just the strength of that bubbler there, popping it right underneath the basket. That just allowed for all the protected jumps to get back in. But with the dualies going down, the edit is holding on magnificently right now with the Squiffer as backup, but that is going to be the basket close. Oh no, they were able to sneak another win, but just going to stall it for just a little while as 2 members of WD-40 going down here.
Make that all 4 members a wipeout for WD-40. And this is going to be huge for the side of Mediu Jojo. They'll be able to push that in. They're not able to get that ball in though. They get stopped right there, and that's going to be huge, as they have to try and either recover that ball or give up that space. As one dropping down, they're able to get the trade, but that's 3 down on the side of WD-40 there.
Indeed, they're just hold out for it right now. They just have not been able to push past that. Like they have so much map control right now. They're just kind of holding right there, but WD-40 just not able to break back out. Like they're doing a good job of holding it down, keeping the defense going, but just they're not able to get that. Get the kind of advantage that they're looking for. Maybe this is it right here. They did take down 2 members of JoJo.
Yeah, but that Wail's gonna come out and it's gonna force them to move around. One is going down. They're doing really good at using that Wail and putting them in its bad spots here. That's a wipeout on the side of WD-40 there. This will be huge for JoJo. They have 5. They have a ball. They're gonna jump that ball in. The Swiffer is set up perfectly, and that's gonna be 1, 2 balls in. This could be it.
Getting down to 21 here. Ooh, they do have several clams of their possession if they can just get them in, but no, here's going to be the 3 down. The Carbon is cleaning up right now, not letting them get that KO, wanting to stay in this match just a little bit longer, and they're going to be getting a lot of map control out of this counter as well.
Yeah, but in a situation like this, I mean, it's a tough mountain to climb. They get all the way down to 18, and you're already 2 down in this situation. It's not looking good for the side of WD-40, as JoJo is just countering them in every way. They're able to score. They're able to stop them from scoring. It's seeming very one-sided here currently.
Indeed, it is. Like it, I think, as you said, like they're getting some nice plays, they're getting some nice splats, but then they're just not able to hold that mid guard now. Ooh, and that's gonna be 2 down, possibly a collab by that Swiffer. Nicely played. Last 2 many members, they're just kind of gonna play for the defense now. But they're knocking on the front door. That crab's gonna get popped. The edit's gonna go down, and they're going for that basket once again.
Yeah, and they are so good at taking so much space there. The Squiffer's able to get one. They have the clan economy to make a ball, but they're not really trying to make a ball. They're just trying to, get picks here and just try and make sure that WD-40 can't push up and aren't able to, in this situation, score.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're down to 30 seconds. We see another ball getting popped. That's going to be the basket getting open, and just once again, JoJo doing a good job of just moving on in, getting that front door open, and just getting the clamps in. But no, that's going to be a wipeout stop at about 15 seconds left. WD-40, not a lot of time to work with. The Carbon's going to just beeline it for the basket, try to hold as much space as possible, but they're cutting it down to the wire here.
Yeah, and if you're WD-40, that Zuka not getting any value is huge. They're able to get the ball in, but I don't know if they'll be able to get much more. That's 3 down on the side of WD-40. The Carbon's going down. That's a delayed wipe. There was a jump in, but unfortunately, they were not able to do this. Meaty JoJo able to get the win here.
Indeed. Yeah, just like again, they has a lot of opportunities, just not giving WD-40 any sort of opportunity at all, and just like it didn't feel like as much of a dominant play, but they were able to consistently get that basket open, just not let WD-40 really set up well. And I wonder if just that was the map, that was the mode, but we saw that both the teams running the head at for one thing, but then we had the Squiffer on the one side. And then the opposing side was the range watchers, kind of like that double midline, possibly just to combat just the wide open spaces of Scorch, but it seemed like that Squiffer really worked out for them, especially with that bubbler underneath that basket.
Yeah, and I mean, we got in there pretty quickly, so I didn't really have time to go over everything. But I mean, you said it perfectly. The double, that double midline comp is very strong, and especially in a meta of this where it's either Cooler, Zuka, or some sort of midline. Mm-hmm. You're expecting the pencil to come out when it comes to the Cooler option, and it's very nice being able to see these the edit coming out, as we were calling the one team the JoJo, but it is actually Ultra Washed with a goat who takes that first game.
Yes, there was a bit of a mix-up with how fast things were moving. Like, we just hopped right into that set, got the action started, and we're going to be getting into this next one as well. Once again, Ultra Watch with the GOAT versus WD-40.
I'm not... The only change I see is I believe that V shot on the side of WD-40 here, as we get into Zone's Ramen here, very similar comps here, as we see Ultra Lost able to get that zone first, and they're able to try and get the first points on the board.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like you said, they swapped that blaster, in fact, for the shot. That's going to give them that double Zuka between the Carbon and the shot. Very interesting choice on this map mode. I would have thought that the blaster would have been a nice pick to go, but they're definitely going for that long range. And here we go, first Zuka of the match going out, and they are going to be getting a nice splat off that, and just going to take off so many points on this board. 2 members of Ultra GOAT are down.
Yeah, and as you say that, the third one goes down, but they did have that cooler, so it's going to be a quick respawn there. The Crab is coming out there trying to get a little bit of paint. They aren't able to do much. The Carbon able to turn around and get that flick. What a great kill there. They're trying to go for another one. The Squiffer is able to dodge and get out of the way, forcing the Carbon to back up. They do go down. They were in a very unfortunate spot here, and Ultra Wash is able to cap the zone, but for how long, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, WD-40 already getting down to 37, and they're still contesting it. Like, even with 2 members down, they're getting some pain out. but Ultra Wash with the Goat is slowly making their way up. They're just trying to keep them out of that zone. Zoo's going to come out, create some space, contest the zone, and the Squiffer getting taken down. But here we go. Here's the Crab for that defense, trying to get some more points on the board, but it is still a hotly contested zone right now.
Yeah, and that Crab is also able to paint the zone a little bit there as they do go down after their Crab. This Carbon is doing really well distracting the 52 there, but they are backing up. However, the 52 is going down. A great distraction for the Carbon. One down on each side here, and the zone is on the side of WD-40 here.
Yeah, we saw that Crab getting popped by Ultra Rush, but even so, WD-40, the ones coming out on top with the zone, and they did take down 2 members of Ultra Wash, and they are slowly making their way up. That's going to be another splat for WD-40, just really putting on the pressure, and they are just about out of penalty points too, so that's going to be some nice points on the board for them.
Yeah, and as you said, out of penalty points, they are extending that lead. The Crab is able to come out trying to stall the zone. They are able to neutralize it, and they are able to actually cap the zone. That's going to be huge. That's giving WD-40 those penalty points right back. And however, 2 down are it is 2 down on the side of Ultra Wash, but I believe they had coolers, so they are able to get back in there quickly.
And we did see the Squiffer as well, just trying to push up with that Zip Caster, but every single time they've just contested WD-40, they've done a good job of just countering that, making sure they couldn't get any value. And once again, the Squiffer just going down here, not able to find really any space to work with. And Tim here trying to go for the splat, but is going to be taken down as well. Once again, getting out of those penalty points. WD-40 just doing a good job of holding his own, but it's going to be the Crab that's going to swap it in Ultra Wash's favor.
Yeah, that Crab getting 1+, able to help cap the zone. That's going to be huge to see a trade there, but that does not help Ultra Wash at all because they are 2 down with that trade while WD-40 was only 1 down. The Crab is able to get canceled by the Wail. A great Wail pop here. The Edit's trying their hardest to do something. They pop the cooler for themselves, really. The Carbon here trying to sneak up and do Carbon things. Will they be able to get anybody? No, they're forced to back up here, and Ultra Wash, the points are ticking down. They're getting closer and closer to that lead. One going down to the side of WD-40, but they are able to get one back. The zone is neutralized. They're trying to fight for it to save it. 3 down on the side of Ultra Wash, and WD-40 is able to save that zone.
Yeah, that was a nice combo between the Crab and the Zuka, able to get some assists on 2 of the players. The Squiffer being the last one up is forced to back out, but it doesn't seem like they are able to make it. Have the Zipcaster online, potentially just waiting for another special to move in. They're just going to try to go for those splats, get the focus of WD-40, focus off of the zone, but the Edit doing a good job getting that trade, holding things down, and it's still going to be 2 members down of Ultra Wash. So WD-40, they're just stalling for time at this point. If they're able to just keep that lead going, they're going to be able to take this match.
Yeah, and the more that this zone goes back and forth, the more it favors WD-40 as there goes 2 with the Crab, 3 down, a delayed wipe on the side of Ultra Wash there. That's going to be huge for WD-40 as we get into the last 30 seconds. Tim's trying to get in. They're able to get Nilla there. That's a huge trade, but that is 2 down on the side of WD-40. So if you're Ultra Wash, you're trying to get picks here, but you're also trying to cap the zone. They are able to cap the zone and get the Edit. That's going to be huge for not having cooler, as they will and should be able to get it into overtime here, but they have to hold it for a good amount of time.
Yeah, they still got like 15 points plus some change in order to get the lead back. They did take down the splash, so it's going to be the Edit out of the way. But here comes the Zuka from the shot. 52 is going to be going down. The zone is contested. We are in overtime. WD-40 going to be fighting for that zone, just trying to make it work. But it's going to be 3. A wipeout off of WD-40. Ultra Wash with a go, taking the lead in overtime for Game 2 and as well as the set.
And that wipe pretty much sealed the deal. If you notice there, they were able to cap the zone like they weren't able to cap the zone until they wiped, and that's something you have to think about. You know, when you're taking team fights like that, especially in overtime when you have the lead, you have to be cautious. But in a situation like that, it was a very close game. If Ultra Wash was able to cap that zone anytime during that, they would have been able to get rid of those penalty points, and then it'd be even closer at that point because it was only like a 5-point difference there.
Oh, absolutely. And like Ultra Wash with a go, just doing a good job of, like, they had some really nice splats even before overtime kicked in, like taking out the Crab and taking out the Edit, just those key picks right there. And then once it did roll around to overtime, For W40, we're just kind of scattered all over the zone. Like we had one member go down. They didn't really get any other specials other than those Zukas, and the Zukas went out but weren't quite able to get the value that they were looking for. So just Ultra Watch with the GOAT, keeping their cool, holding the zone, and just making sure they kept their players alive. And like you said, that wipeout just completely flipped the tables and sealed the deal.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what WD-40 here does. Will they try and go with a big comp switch? Because we haven't really seen many comp switches. I mean, the only thing we saw was that blaster being switched out for the double Zuka comp. But when you're in a situation where you're down 0-2, and if you lose this, you're out of the tournament. You tend to think differently about your comp situations. We might see people going more. Oh, this was only a BO3. Never mind. I thought it was a BO5. So we do get into to losers finals here as we see Facing My Limits back versus Ultra Wash. Sorry about that mix up there.
Oh, no worry. Yeah, this is the losers run. This is going to be the losers bracket. These are the teams trying to fight their way back to that grand finals to face off against JoJo there. And so it is going to be a best of 3, just chewing their way through. And right now, as you said, losers finals, Facing My Limits versus the Ultra Wash with a GOAT. And thinking about that last match, like, definitely WD-40, like, they realized, okay, we're not getting out of our base, we're not breaking back in, so that's why they possibly swapped to that double Zuka. But even with the double Zuka, Ultra Watch with the GOAT was still able to turn that around, and I feel like just able to keep their composure right at the last second, even into overtime, was so critical. And I think that is definitely going to hold true for Tower Control and Hagovish, because this is one that if you let it get out of control, it can just sweep out from under your feet.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a very if you get wiped, there's a good chance that the opponents might get to checkpoints 2, maybe even get to that third one by the base. It's a very tough thing. You have to worry about taking those team fights correctly and making sure that you stay alive. If one or two go down on your team, that's a sign that, hey, you should probably back up and maybe try and do something different. But unless you're confident, hey, I can just take all of them at the same time, which some people are, go ahead, try it. I really don't. I don't think that's the smart way, but it could work out to some people.
Yeah, it's like a risk versus reward thing. Like there's a high risk with a high reward if you're taking those hero plays like you're talking about, but like the percentage of being able to come out of that on top is just so very low. So it's like you do want to kind of like take your time. You want to be able to play with your team more often. So I feel like here, especially being able to take those team fights and keep that that consistency rolling for your team, just like so critical.
Yeah, and I mean, Ultra Wash is also in a good situation here. They've been able to study some of what Facing My Limits has been doing, because they were just playing against the people who are in grand finals. So Ultra Wash, if you're them right now, you're feeling confident that, hey, we know what they're doing. We know what their plans are, their tricks are. We can exploit those, and we can try and get our way to grand finals. And then if they do make it to grand finals, they have the same thing for JoJo.
No, absolutely. And yeah, it was like right now, Ultra Wash, they went up against Facing My Limits in winners finals as well, and then just got knocked down the losers by a single match. Like, it was pretty darn close. Facing My Limits was what ended up facing against JoJo in the winners finals. So this is kind of their redemption arc, trying to get back in them. And this is also Ultra Wash redemption arc as well, just trying to take their the comeback round against Facing My Limits and secure their spot in the winners finals.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a run back like this, it's bound to be a good set, because both teams know what each other's tricks are and how to play correctly. I'm just interested to see what like comps come out, because I mean, I think Ultra Wash has been the team that's been running that edit Squiffer combo, and it's very rare to see Squiffer in a competitive scene. Unless they one trick it.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like either of those, the Squiffer edit or Squiffer kits, like if they were set on running that, it could definitely lend itself to tower control. The Bubbler especially has been known to be strong for tower control. But I'm curious though, is like we've seen the edit in action, and I could see just the play for the particular maps that it was on. But like you said earlier, pencil is usually the go-to pick for like that cooler, that backline combo. Maybe because they're wanting to run that Squiffer is why they're bringing that edit for that double midline. But I'm curious to see what they bring for Hacklefish Market.
Yeah, I mean, pencil is really, really strong here. There's so many spots you can just set up and snipe from, and you can paint and have a lot of cooler spot, able to get quick coolers. You're able to put them in a lot of great spots. Pencil's just really strong. I mean, obviously pencil's, just really strong in the entire meta, but on maps like these specifically, it's very, very strong. But I'm interested to see, because like you said, we talked about the Squiffer and how it might make them shy away from the pencil. The edit's a weird choice here. It's very it can be used well, but it's just, I don't know. I haven't really seen much edit be used here in general.
No, yeah, I agree. It's just like for this particular map mode, edit may not be the best choice. They might be set on using it just to kind of what fits into their comp, but just on its own, as like it's not something it would not be my first pick for Hacklefish Tower. But with the other weapons we saw, they've had that splatter shot, and they've had those dualies for that kind of Zuka crab combo, which may be able to make up for that if they're able to keep that that aggression going, keep kind of the pressure off their edit. The edit could just be able to be that paint support and be that cooler output that they need.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's usually you want to choose what fits into the comp over what works better on a map, because if it fits into a comp and it works well with a comp, it will work out no matter the map or mode, unless in some cases where a weapon is pretty much unusable. Cough cough undercover anyways. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they come out with here as we do get into this first match.
Indeed. Gotta be happy with this first match. First off, we're going to be seeing... Ooh, okay. So we're going to be seeing that 52 coming out. That was the other weapon that I was thinking of. So they're not even running the Zuka Ultra Watch with the Goat. Still running that Edit and the Swiffer, but no Zuka whatsoever. Kind of going for the Wail and the Crab, which honestly I think are a pretty good alternative for this map.
Yeah, definitely. Crab's a really good special here. It's able to capture so much, as we see those dualies trying to go in. Unable, they get one, but they spot one, but they're unable to get them here, as this has been pretty much a stalemate for the first little bit, and it still is, as that roller is able to get 3 before they get traded out.
That's gonna be the Crackdown roller. I love to see it. Like, they're gonna be running in opposition to Ultra Wash 0 Zuka comp. We're gonna be seeing Facing My Limits with a double Zuka comp with that shot and the Neon Machine, but the Kraken roller coming up behind. That's gonna be bringing in the Kraken and the beacons. With the map as long as this, the beacons can certainly just keep the momentum going in their favor if they're able to keep them out. Just keep that pressure going. But right now it's kind of Ultra Wash with the advantage right now. We're going to be seeing the Crab getting popped on the tower, and they're going to be extending the lead even further.
Yeah, and I mean, they're in a good spot here with 2 down on the side of Facing My Limits, and everyone else, they know where they are, because we see that Kraken roller going down. The Zuka's able to is coming out. I don't think it's able to get the 52 there, but the bubbles though is the biggest counter to Zuka right now. It's especially with the buffs that it got in the latest patch. It just showed it right there. However, there are trades going on in that top right snipe area. The Edit's trying to keep pressure going. They aren't able to get a pick, but they are able to chip a bit there. The Wail's coming out. Maybe the Wail is able to get somebody to get people. No, it's not. But I mean, Ultra Watch has been really good at just keeping this tower pushed up.
Oh yeah, like they've been just completely putting on the aggression. Like even with that Kraken and then the double, that's going to be 2 members of Ultra Watch down, which could turn the tides. But again, that's going to be the Machine and the Zap going down. Like once again, Ultra Watch is doing a good job of keeping that pressure on. They're not letting Facing My Limits even get past the midline right now. They're fighting for it. Like they're really fighting for it, but just cannot find that ground.
But that Zuka's able to get 2. That's going to be huge. That's 3 down on the side of Ultra Wash. It's only that Crab or the dualies that we saw. They go down, and this could be the first push for facing my limits here. And granted, they get on the tower. They are on the tower now. They should be able to get this to the first checkpoint. However, I don't know. They took a lot longer than I expected getting on that tower and getting the push started there. However, they do get Ultra Wash 3 down again. They should be able to get this first checkpoint pretty freely, but they're not on the tower to do it.
No, yeah, it took them a little bit to get that tower rolling, but once they did, they had those specials lined up, and they took almost 3 members of Ultra Wash down, so they're approaching the second checkpoint, close to taking that lead. Ooh, and they are able to do so. That little bit extra time they took just allowed them to build up the momentum, get the steam train rolling. There's going to be another 2 down off of Ultra Wash, and they are just going to be continuing through that second choke and just absolutely going through them.
Yeah, and that's Shot's able to get one. We were talking about the whole steamrolling effect of Hagglefish, and we see it there. They were able to get that KO there barely. The Kraken able to stall enough to get past that third checkpoint, and they were able to, use that cooler as sort of a shield as well. But they were able to get 2-3 members on that tower, so they were able to body block for each other.
Oh, absolutely. And Ultra Wash, like they in the first part of the match, like they did a good job of just keeping that tower moving. They kept like putting on the pressure, kept really attacking. I'm blanking out right now. The other team, but then like all they needed was that one opportunity. Facing my limits only needed that one opportunity, and they really took it. Like they did a good job of just keeping that kind of steamroll as you talked about going, and so that's all they needed was that one push to get the KO.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw there, it was one delayed wipe, and they were, even with them getting on the tower late, they got to the checkpoint late, they're having issues getting past the checkpoint. They were able, that delayed wipe was able to give them space, and they were pushing up with that space, and they were able to, keep the pressure on, which allowed them to put the Ultra Lost in positions where they were in, they were weak and they were going down. As we get into Clem, Scorch here, I'm wondering if there's going to be any comp changes.
I'm going to be seeing no changes for Ultra Wash here, and actually none on the side of Facing My Limits either. Both teams just going to be sticking with what they're running. Honestly, I can see the play here. Like both of them can do pretty fantastic. We've seen Ultra Wash already on this map mode do phenomenal against WD-40, and I could definitely see that Kraken putting in a lot of work between the beacons and that Kraken, even without the clam jumps.
Yeah, Kraken Cheese is kind of dead. If you get in a good spot here, obviously, you can still pop the Kraken right under basket and then push up with it. But that's just sort of like a normal play now. They've gotten rid of the real Kraken Cheese aspect of it. As we see here, one going down on each side here, and they're mainly fighting all around that bottom right area. As we see the Neo Machine able to get 2 there. Great playing from them. The V shot, is trying to get that last one there. They were able to, after cornering them with all 3 members, but I mean, they have the clam economy here. If they can get more picks, they can get a quick push going here.
Oh yes, like that Neon Machine just took so much value out of that engagement, and they have the Kraken out trying to just scare them off, but once again, Ultra Wash is doing a good job of keeping on, just keeping that map control, keeping control of the space in the middle. Like Facing My Limits, they're doing some good plays, some good blasts, but they're just not able to kind of break out of their own base with them. And this is what we saw against WT40. And so if Ultra Wash is able to keep up what they've been doing here, but once again, just 2 members go down, and they're just not able to break through Facing My Limits defense.
And there's 2 balls ready on the side of Facing My Limits. That bomb against the splat wall, a really good play there. Being able to see that splash wall and get the bomb perfectly placed there. That's going to be the 52 down, but they did have Cooler, so they are back immediately. And that's the thing about Cooler. It's making for a lot more high intense gameplay where, when you get 1 or 2 down, it's not the end of the world with Cooler here. And that's been the whole sort of meta going on, is trying to play as aggressive as possible here. As we do see that Shot trying to get anything. They aren't able to get anything. They have people all around them, and they finally go down. And the 52 is able to get behind Facing My Limits and get one there as well and get away cleanly.
I think you hit the hammer on the nail right there. Just the ultra aggression for Ultra Wash is being as aggressive as possible has kind of been their playstyle so far. Versus Facing My Limits, like they're taking their time. Like they know they got 5 minutes. As long as they don't allow Ultra Wash past their defense to get to the basket, they can keep this going. But this is going to be the first basket break, and it's going to be Ultra Wash breaking that open. But it doesn't look like they're going to. No, here comes Yeta. They're going to get a couple more clams in, get it down to 77. But just that's going to be it for that push right there. Facing My Limits finally locking down the defense once again.
Yeah, and you talked about it, the ultra aggression from the side of Ultra Washed. I mean, it's in the name, I guess. But we see here they're able to use their weapons to an advantage that puts pressure on the other team and forces them to make mistakes. I mean, the Squiffer is really good at you know, mid-range fights with the not the whole like E-liter range, but it has enough range to outrange a lot of the other weapons. Pretty much every weapon on the other team here. As we see that Kraken trying to get something, not able to get anything. They do trade out with a 52, but at this point, we talk about that aggression, but they're going aggressive again here. Ultra Wash, the crab on the on the flat area there of Facing My Limits is not able to get anything. They weren't able to push in with it, but that's just been the whole name of the game, is that Facing My Limits has been trying to stay back and get picks to start a push, but they haven't been able to get those picks because of how aggressive Ultra Wash is and using their aggression as a team more than just one person going in.
Right, exactly, and it's back to that high risk, high reward. Ultra Wash going for the higher risk, just trying to get the higher reward, but Facing My Limits, they took their time. They got those clan economy up. They made sure they had the space to work with it. They're already down to 30. They took the lead in the landslide right there. We are down to 40 seconds, and they have already so much map control. Even after the amount of losses and engagements they took in so far, they just completely flipped around with that one push once again.
Yeah, and I mean this just shows a tale of two play styles here. We keep talking about the aggression from the side of Ultra Wash, but you have to talk about the side, the more passive side of Facing My Limits. They were staying back. They were letting them score so they could build up the clam economy. And then once they were able to build up the clam economy, they went in and they went to push. As we see here, though, Ultra Washed able to get 2 down. They're able to get in. They're able to get that jump in with a bubble. That's going to be huge. That's going to get the ball in. But they've got to get so many more clams in here.
Oh, you're so right. They need those clams to get the lead back. They had some. They're holding the space right now. But again, they need the clams. They need the clams to get the basket. But 2 members are going down. The script is going down. 52 is going down. And they still need 20 more points. And with a wipeout like that, that's going to be the end of that push. Facing My Limits, getting game 2. Once again, coming out on top over Ultra Wash, securing the spot in the grand finals. And it's just like, Ultra Wash really wanted that win. Like we see it, they were winning so many of those team fights, but Facing My Limits won the team fight that mattered.
Yeah, it was the difference was that, you know, Ultra Wash was trying to they were trying to keep the pedal to the metal. They were trying to set their own tempo. But when it comes to them going down, at some point, you know, they weren't able to have enough space. And when, I guess, Facing My Limits saw the opportunity, they striked and they went for the heart there.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's like when you're running yourself that quickly all the time, like eventually you are going to run out of steam. You're going to kind of make a mistake on your own, and then Facing My Limits just completely capitalize off that. And just the amount of times they open up that basket, I'm sure they had several of those pity clams stored up. Like that's all they needed to flip that around and get the lead back.
Yeah, and that was a really good job of just holding that pity clam until you have a good clam economy, setting yourself up to get a lead in that one push. And I mean, the thing is that ultra aggression comes with a cost if you get over aggressive, which is sort of what Ultra Wash did there. When you get over aggressive, you go down, and it's when I think of this, I think back to, you know, LTC with Moonlight versus Jackpot. How Jack or Moonlight versus Starburst. Sorry, I was thinking because Jared was on there. Starburst, you know, they were able to get that ball in and get the lead by being aggressive, but they overheated and they went and they wiped out, and that allowed Moonlight to, you know, push in and get that final push to take back the lead in that Clam Umami game.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And Facing My Limits, just that's gonna send them into grand finals again. They're gonna be getting their rematch against Me to you, Jojo. And so that's going to be your next matchup as we get set up. But in the meantime, we're going to be taking just a short break, and we'll be back to you with your grand finals of the Neon Wail.
Welcome back, everybody, to Neon Wail. As we get into our grand finals, we have our winners final rematch of Me to You JoJo versus Facing My Limits. My name is Jake Reed Zero, and I'm here with the lovely Imad.
Hello, and welcome back from the break. Hope you had a chance to get hydrated, use the restroom, because we have a exciting rematch for you. As Jake pointed out, Me to You JoJo versus Facing My Limits, and this is your grand final sets. Will Facing My Limits take the top? Will they get their redemption from the losers that they were hoping for, or will Me to You JoJo get the second win and just take the whole thing? Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Me to You JoJo in this situation, you've got a lot of time off. They had to wait for losers semis and losers finals. So I mean, when you're in a situation like this, you have to stay warm. So it'll be interesting for these first few games here, this first set. It'll be more so it'll be looking at how is Me to You JoJo, did they do something, like, I guess, productive in their time off waiting? I'm sure they did, but it'll be interesting to see if they're cold, if their hands are cold to compared to Facing My Limits, who just came off a set like 5 minutes ago, pretty much. Yeah, and the other thing is the mental game, really, because Me to You JoJo, if they lose this first set, they still have the bracket reset. They still have another set, so they can afford to lose this first set. Facing My Limits, they're in a situation here where they have to win.
Oh, absolutely. That's like they have that kind of advantage going into this. Like they have the kind of buffer of that first set, like you said. So Facing My Limits is really got to be on their game, keep kind of the fire that they have from winning losers finals. And like you said, Me to You JoJo's just had that cooldown. They've had that time to wait. But looking at the bracket, though, they've not lost a game. Like, even against Facing My Limits, they just have not dropped a game as of yet. Versus Facing My Limits, they've had a tough time in that first set against... I'm blanking once again. Ultra Wash. So it's just like...
Oh, yeah.
If BDU JoJo is like, if they're, like you said, able to keep warmed up, able to keep their own fire going, then going into this next one, it's going to be a hot one. I will say that it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, and I mean it'll be very interesting to see the maps here as we look into it. Rainmaker Humpback, that's a very interesting map to start on here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, Rainmaker Humpback. That is a interesting one to start on, because you have Rainmaker, you know, like Rainmaker is pretty chaotic to begin with, but I feel like Humpback, with its unique curvatures, just lend itself to even more chaos. And I'm trying to think back, we saw the Kraken roller in play for Facing My Limits, and so just any sort of roller, any sort of bucket. Speaking of bucket and speaking of blaster, holy moly, and we're gonna be seeing the dynamo on top of that. Like, yeah, this is ledge camping paradise right here.
Yeah, and Dynamo is certainly been on the rise. It's something that at launch of the game you wouldn't have even seen played in gimmick tourneys, unless it was forced to be played here. But now you see it here played in the grand finals of a mid-level tourney. However, unfortunately, 2 down on the side of Facing My Limits. This should just be the first checkpoint for Miyu JoJo, and it is. But as we see here, they're able to Miyu JoJo's able to get that.
Ooh.
What? I don't. They're able to get the check there. I don't know what happened there.
I can only assume that was the work of the splashdown right there. I was not able to catch what happened, but 3 members down, and Miyu JoJo still kicking it though. 3 members down again. That Crab just doing some good job of holding space to regroup. Like, they're running for that KO. The Azuka's gonna stall it short at 31, but they are still on the aggression right here. Like, they're not letting this Maker go.
Yeah, and I mean, Miyu JoJo's doing really good of trying to keep them staggered here as we see the movement from the Rainmaker. The Zuka's able to get one there, able to stop the Rainmaker, but in this situation, if you're Facing My Limits, you need to get more than just the Rainmaker here, because they're going to just keep pushing it and keep pushing it, and they're not going to stop anytime soon.
Not at all. And we're going to be seeing 2 members of Facing My Limits down again. Miyu JoJo picking up their Maker. Ooh, are they going to be able to finally get it? The Crab is going to stall them short. The Zuga's going to be coming out trying to clean up. The Princess is going to be having to jump out. 2 members of Miyu, 3 members down of Miyu JoJo are down. Facing My Limits finally able to break that hold that they had on them, but it is down to 11. That's going to be a hard climb to come back from, and the Blasters once again just doing some good work on that.
Yeah, and the Crab's able to get the Rainmaker. That's going to be huge. They're in a very tough spot here as we see that Blaster's pushing up. This Splash is in a very unfortunate spot. They were marked and they were pushed up by the Blaster. That Blaster's doing really good at pushing up. The Zuka's coming out from the side of Facing My Limits, unable to get anyone, and they get knocked out. That is 3 down on the side of Facing My Limits.
3 down once again. Miyu JoJo holding the space right now. Not able to get anything off the Rainmaker, but honestly, at this point, they don't have to. Any sort of play that they can play safely is going to be in their favor. With the lead like that, they just got to stall it out. They are going to pick it up, take it to this corner here, but that is such an advantageous place for them to be in. Facing My Limits just doesn't really have anywhere to go without specials, and they're going to be losing half their team, and it's just the Crab holding the fort down.
Yeah, but you see that Slosher's trying to get over the Crab. They aren't able to. The Crab is forced to drop down and get behind them. They should be able to get behind them there, but everyone is backed up actually. So that just gives Facing My Limits a little more space. The Splashdown's coming out, able to get one there. That's a huge pick. That's the Dynamo. That's the Cooler. That's 2 down on the side of Facing My Limits. 3 down on the side of Facing My Limits. And although the Rainmaker is reset, Miyu JoJo has just been absolutely dominating this game so far.
No, absolutely, and like, you know, we talk about Zuga being kind of in the meta right now, but even with 2 of them, 2 of them, Facing My Limits is just not able to kind of combat. Miyu JoJo is doing a good job. They're playing to the strengths of the map and their weapons. Like, we're seeing just the Blaster time and time again take the point, go after them, and getting some nice engagements. Even if they go down, they're able to create space for their team to follow up with. And once they get that Crab Stamper set up, oh, they can hold so much space with that.
Yeah, as we see here, they're really just trying to stall out this Rainmaker. They're not really pushing up. They're not backing up. They're just trying to stall here. They're trying to waste time, and that's what you got to do sometimes. They're just
Mhm.
standing there. What they're probably gonna do here is when that Rainmaker number gets low, they're gonna try and push it as far as possible. We see here 2 going down on Meteor Jojo, but in this situation, it's not terrible because they're not really pushing the Rainmaker at all. They finally push the Rainmaker and finally get it down, but it's all the way down to 40 seconds. That's so much time wasted, and that's favoring me to you, Jojo.
Indeed, like not only did they waste so much time, but they had to have pretty much their entire team focus on the Rainmaker to take it down. And here we are, going to just end up in a wipe. They're going to be running for the check or the pedestal here, but they have several specials to burn off here. They're going to. I honestly don't know. Like they could run it here, or they could just like play safe on the bunker here. But they are going to be finally taken down by the Zuka. 5 seconds remaining, 2 members down, and Face Limits has to pick it up. They have to hold it here, and they are just such at a disadvantage right now. They have the checkpoint kind of to give them a buffer. They're able to get that checkpoint, a little increase their overtime, but oh, they're just the defense of me to you, Jojo, has been so tight this game.
Yeah, and they're in such good spots right here. They have good specials as well. The strikes, if the strikes come out, they can save those strikes maybe to try and stop the check, or not even stop the checkpoint. But when they get the checkpoint there, the splashdown's coming out as well. The splashdown's not able to get anything. The strikes are pushing them back, and they're just hard rushing this Rainmaker, and this Rainmaker's not able to do anything at all. As Meteor Jojo with an absolute dominant first game.
Oh, absolutely. Like we saw, like even right at the end there, facing my limits, they couldn't really get or nail down any of me to you Jojo's players. Like they had the specials, they had the Rainmaker, they were in a really good position to take that checkpoint. But me to you Jojo, they held back just far enough to stay alive. And as soon as they had the specials up, pedal to the metal, green light go, they went after that Maker and they just completely surrounded them. First the strikes and the splashdown, and just like they facing my limits couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to handle, and I mean, the other thing, as we talked about, we saw the stalling there. You have to wonder how much that affected facing my limit, because they knew they were running low on time at that point when they had finally gotten to the Rainmaker. So when you're in that mode, you're sort of in like a panic mode at that point, trying to be like, hey, we got to get this Rainmaker going, we have to get it there, and we saw there when they tried to push that Rainmaker out, it ended up with them getting wiped out. And Meteor Jojo was able to push that Rainmaker into their base and put it in a good spot that made it hard for facing my limits to try and win that match in overtime.
I feel like generally in Rainmaker, like you want speed to be your highest priority. You want kind of that, all right, once we have the opportunity, we go. But with Humpback, it felt more like a tower control match, if anything. Like me to you, Jojo knew where to set up. They knew where the key positions to hold were, and they did a good job of holding those. You were talking about stalling out the time. Like they knew exactly where to put that Rainmaker to have the most optimal position to do just that. Face of My Limits couldn't touch them. They took all 4 of their members, and that was after they removed every other member of Me to You Jojo from the equation. And after that, just like they were out of time, and they just got wiped out.
Yeah, that wipeout was huge. I mean, they had it in a pretty good spot, but then they got wiped out and the Rainmaker went down, and that was pretty much the end of it. We did see here getting into the next map, I believe we are on Manta Maria. I think it was Clam Blitz, which is a very interesting choice here. Yeah, or no, it's Tower Control Manta. An even more interesting choice, I guess I should say.
Indeed is going to be a tower control Manta, and I feel like the Dynamo pick, we have to call back for the Dynamo pick. It very much felt like a Humpback choice there. Like that is not the first time I've seen Dynamo used specifically for Humpback, because once again of the unique curvatures of the map, just all those little divots and humps to go over, it really works well. But I feel like we're going to be seeing the return of that edit for Manta. We saw Facing My Limits using it in the last couple of matches. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they're going to go for the Zap. They were playing the Zap before. We're seeing the return of that Crack-On Roller. That's what they were playing before.
And the Crack-On Roller is a really nice option here because, I mean, with with the Kraken, since it's an invincible special, if you're able to get it off and get it on tower, that's going to be a free few points here. I do really like the range pick here from the side of me to you, Jojo. That's going to be huge for that bunker control. That's going to be the main focus of both teams here. Just try and get in that bunker and try to take control of it.
No, yeah, it's having that midline option. Like we see the sloshing machine for the side of Facing My Limits, but really it's going to be that range blaster going to be having kind of the range advantage and the chip damage in this map, especially for this middle area. Like pushing that first checkpoint, you need a little bit extra H just to get it into those streets, whereas a little bit more close quarters. But it's going to be Face My Limits taking the first checkpoint right here, like completely opposite what we saw from the last game. They're keeping me to you, Jojo, at bay here, and they're just able to get the first points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, as you say that though, 2 down on the side of Facing My Limits, but oh, what a pick from the Crack-On roller there, and they're using the Kraken to push everyone away. That's going to be huge. That gets them that tower back, but 2 go down again from the side of Facing My Limits. That's 3 down now. That range showing its, using its range to the advantage, outranging the Kraken and being able to poke around that side there to get the pick, and suddenly Miyu Jojo's in a really good spot here. They have everyone in one spot there. With 1 down, they're able to push the tower, and they're starting to push that up with the strikes coming out.
That's right. We do see the range blaster going down, but it is at the cost of 2 members of Facing My Limits. Make that a 3rd member, Zuka taking them out, and they're going to be moving on to that second checkpoint and taking the lead here as well. Like this is kind of what we saw in that last match of them able to get those nice picks, able to get those key positions. We'll see here is Facing the Limits, and they're able to combat this. They haven't gotten the checkpoint just yet. They're going to have 2 members down, just the bucket remaining, but they're doing so good at keeping it up. 3! Oh. The bucket just took down 3 with their strikes. What is going on?
Yeah, the bucket's able to get 2 with the strikes and then get another one right there. That was a huge. While they weren't able to push the tower anymore, that's going to be huge for stalling actually, as they were able to, as much as Facing My Limits tried, they weren't able to get anything there. They weren't able to push up with the tower because 3 of them were down. It was a 3 down on each side. A delayed wipe from me to you, Jojo, but the 3 down from Facing My Limits made it so that they weren't able to do anything. We see here 1 coming down on each side and 2 getting hit for that Zuka, but the Slosher again able to get 1. The machine able to trade it out, and what what a dog fight we have here in mid.
No, yeah, like Facing My Limits taking down 3 members of Me to You, Jojo in that corner right there. Like, if they had gotten the bucket too, taken the wipe, like that could have been their opportunity to grab mid. But because the bucket took 3 of them out and swapped the scales, Me to You, Jojo had a lot of paint control still in mid. Now, Facing My Limit, that nice Zuka play, and then the sloshing machine to clean it up. That may have offset the sales, but we still see Me to You, Jojo just keeping it really balanced right now. Both teams having an even share of mid, and Facing My Limits hasn't been able to really push past that, and we're seeing 2 more members of them going down.
Yeah, and that's 3 down on the side of Me to You, Jojo. They were able to get that trade. That's 2 down on the side of Facing My Limits. And Facing My Limits did not have the cooler out there. I believe Me to You, Jojo did, so they're able to get back in there quicker. That's 1 down on the side of Facing My Limits, and that Zuka's out, able to keep them at bay. A Wave Breaker there as well. That should have gotten a little bit of information there. For the side of Me to You, Jojo, that bomb, yeah, I'm barely able to avoid that bomb, and that might be huge as we get into the last minute here. 1 going down on Me to You, Jojo, that's that range. Another 1 going down. The bucket's able to trade out with that Zuka, and that's going to be big. As we see the cooler, that cooler is going to be coming out from the side of from Me to You, Jojo, and the Zuka also coming out. They're really just trying to stall here.
No, yeah, like they have that lead, but it's not a huge lead. Like they were just able to get past the second checkpoint. I feel like Me to You, Jojo, they're definitely on their cooler game, but it's been those beacons that have been allowing Facing My Limits to kind of keep up with them right now. Like even when they lose half their team, they're able to get safe jumps in. But right now, 2 members of Me to You, Jojo are down, and it's just the range blaster playing defense right here. But they're in such a good position. Like they're practically all they need. Like they can keep putting pressure on that tower so that Facing My Limits can't even get on it. And so that's going to be Me to You, Jojo taking game 2. Kraken just a second too late.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. It looked like there was one player from each team on the tower when the Kraken got on. So I wonder if it was like a frame type thing here, as we do see, yeah, Meteor Jojo able to get that second one. It was a very close one. That one was way more, even than the first game.
No, absolutely. It's like Meteor Jojo, like they definitely held such a good game for Rainmaker and Humpback, but in that last one, Tower Control Manta, it was facing my limits who got the first points, and then they almost brought it back right at the last second, but I think just it was a matter of Meteor Jojo. They once again knew where to be, and they knew when to just kind of play it safe and stay alive. That Range Master in just the position they needed to be to keep that tower from going any further.
Yeah, and I mean, this is tournament point for Meteor Jojo, and that's gonna be weighing on the minds of facing my limits. They obviously their goal here is to try and reverse sweep as we get into Clan Blitz Mako. But if you're facing my limits, how do you start mentality wise trying to get that reverse sweep going?
I feel like you gotta kind of take away what you did well in the last Tower Manta, and then kind of figure out how to expand. Like, okay, what was it that we did well that we were able to get the upper hand on JoJo? Like Clans Macamart or Megamart, completely different map structure, very enclosed, very small, and the fact that it's Clan Blitz as well is like they're gonna have to watch out for that blaster because they're going to be making some really aggressive plays to kind of lead it up. And so if they're able to get a handle on that, they might be able to curve some of JoJo's momentum.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been seeing that sort of blaster come out in every single match so far. So it'll be interesting to see, like, if they come out with a blaster, or if they try and switch things up to, throw facing my limits off their game, and to see if they have anything up their sleeve really to try and counter, if facing my limits pulls out something completely random.
Now, of course, we've been seeing that roller player in play for the last couple of matches. I feel like Megabar is definitely where it's going to be able to shine the most. It's going to be able to take advantage of those little tight spaces and all those ledges that I can get around, but is definitely going to have to watch out for that bucket and the blaster, which can do a very similar play.
I think they might have had some players on the wrong team there. We will quickly reset that there. Obviously, the comps will stay the same, and the map and mode will stay the same most likely. I didn't have enough time to catch anything there, but I mean, we can go back to what we were talking about here. With seeing what the other teams trying to, I guess, throw each other off in a way.
No, like from what I saw, both teams are often to kind of stick with what they've been running. Like they feel comfortable with what they had in that last match. Humpback, it's weird. You throw a little bit of spice into it, just mix up a bit, but Manta Tower and then onto Clams Mechamart, a little bit more up the speed of what players are used to. So like they're gonna be running something very similar to what they've been running for most of this tournament, and like it is gonna be kind of, can they get the blaster and in the bucket as well? Like the bucket has some really good plays in that last match. Are they able to get those players under control? Because if they let them run wild like they want to, it's going to be tough to take any space in mid.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that comes with this map mode sort of is the clam economy. Obviously, you have to keep track of that. I mean, we saw how big that was in the last set. How facing my limit, I think, where they were able to pretty much, as we see the 96 come out here. Oh, that's an interesting choice. It's the same special from the crack-on roller there, but we see the splash and the 96. That's a cooler-less comp right there, actually. That's very interesting.
That is interesting. Okay. I can kind of see the play right there. So they're going to be opting, with the range blaster and with the bucket, they're trying to bring out the 96 to be their midline. They have the Kraken still with them. They have the wall for defense, but here we go. We're seeing facing my limits. They're getting the first blood right there, getting a nice pick on the splash shot. They took down the rage blaster right away, but they're already 2 down themselves, and that Kraken is about to run out on top of that.
Yeah, the Kraken's lucky to still be alive. However, they do get taken down, and that push that's a very risk reward push. In this case, I think it was more of a risk because they didn't get any extra clams in really, and in this situation, you just gave more clams for Miyu Jojo to use to push when they push with that pity clam.
I think about facing my limits when they're up against Ultra Wash. Like, facing my limits were kind of the more methodical. Like, they played for time. Like, they took the most value out of the one push that they were given, whereas Ultra Wash were just like hard aggression all the time. Miyu Jojo kind of has that same aggression, but unlike Ultra Wash, like they're winning so many more of their engagements here, and so it's like facing my limits is just not able to keep up with that. They're not able to get that opportunity.
Yeah, we do see here, Miyu Jojo, they missed that first power clam, but were able to get the pity clam in there, to be able to get a push. They get the lead and they get all the way down to 65, but you just wonder how much more they could have gotten if they didn't miss that one power clam to start off.
Oh yeah, no, that was so unfortunate. It's just so sad to see that happen, but the fact that they're able to follow up with another power clam is so huge, and they're gonna follow up again, sneaking another one right underneath the Zuka there, and they have some power clams and space to kind of follow up with it as well, but they do lose half their team in the process. Is Jocelyn able to get the clams in? They get one, possibly two. This fight, no, they're gonna be outnumbered. They're gonna be taken down and sent back to spawn, facing my limits, locking that down before it can get out of control.
And that was unfortunate because they had a good push started, but they weren't able to do much more. As we see here, facing my limits are gonna try and push up here, but they don't really have the clam economy to do so. They only have 7, and I don't believe that will be enough to get them lead. They are able to get in. They are able to get more and bring it down to 64. They are able to get another ball in and bring it down to 44. Get that lead, and there's a little bit of that aggression you were talking about. They were able to aggress and take the lead, but at the same time they're in a situation now where they didn't really overheat, but they've given Miyu Jojo a free way in.
I think, like you said exactly, we see Miyu Jojo so close to getting that lead. They just need a single clan to bring it back, but that's what's been working out for Facing My Limits. Like, facing Miyu Jojo, the aggression has been wearing down Facing My Limits, just keeping them from being able to really do what they want to. So they've swapped it up. They're the ones going on the aggression, getting the upper hand. It's like, once again, this range blaster going down. If they can get to the spot off, there's the Kraken going in. They can solidify the lead a bit more instead matching Miyu Jojo's aggression and their initiation. Like, that's what's been allowing them to come on top in some of these other engagements.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure about the score here. It's definitely, obviously, it's good for stalling, but it just gets you a bigger lead. And at this gives, again, this is what we saw earlier. This just gives Miyu Jojo a free pity clan to, if they score here, which they are able to score, it'll get them a bigger lead. Will they be able to get that pity clan and get it in here? They're able to just keep control here. Everyone's already up, so I don't know if they'll be able to. They will use that pity clan. That's 2 down on the side of Miyu Jojo, but this just shows what the issues with being aggressive in clan blitzes is. If one person is aggressive, you have no backup there to have a decent push, it's just gonna give the other team a better opportunity to score and take lead.
Oh, absolutely, Jake. And I think, like, here goes the last power, because I'm going to be going and giving Miyu Jojo the last match, giving them that set win for grand finals, take it on the Neon Wail. But I think it's exactly that. Like, Facing My Limits, they were playing more aggressive, but they weren't getting the same amount of value out of their plays that Miyu Jojo was. Like, they were able to keep up, but only really in the short term. Overall, like, it was just those couple pushes that Miyu Jojo was able to get, that they got so many good points out of it that, like, they completely knocked it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I like to think that it was a good idea to get more aggressive, but at the same time, if they played more passive like they did earlier, you gotta wonder, would they been able to do what they did against Ultra Wash? Would they have been able to get one good push that takes lead and just defend from there on?
Now I feel like it was about kind of that momentum control, like being able to control the flow of the game. That's what I was trying to get at. Miyu Jojo, like even though they were set back a bit by how Face Out Limits was playing, like how they were kind of being more up in their face about it, they still had really good control of the flow of the game. Like even if they were having to pull back just a little bit, allowing Face My Limits to get those points, they came back and they hit even harder. Like even that first game, they just completely stomped over them. The last two games, it was a lot closer, but they still kept their cool. And I think, like you said, like they just played a little bit more safely, and so they were able to take full advantage of when they had those opportunities for get points.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the few things you can relate, I guess, competitive Splatoon to with regular sports is controlling that tempo. That's the big thing when it comes to how your playstyle is. How do you want to control the tempo? Because if you're one team, you want to play your tempo and force the other team maybe to be out of their comfort zone and play either a faster or slower tempo. It's you got to control that pace, and in turn, it'll give you the ability to control the game.
Right, exactly, and that can be hard. Like that's something that's difficult to like really master. And so like we can see right here, Miyu Jojo has had that practice and are able to really do that effectively.
Yeah, so Miyu Jojo getting the 301 grand finals, and they're able to win this edition of Neon Well. You said they haven't lost a game.
No, like they have swept this entire tournament, not a single loss under their belt.
Wow, that's hard to do in a mid-level tournament like this.
No, absolutely, and they were looking back here, they were seeded 4th or 2nd. I think they were seed. Yeah, they were seed number 2, but still, seed number 4 from Facing My Limits coming out on facing them off in grand finals, still really impressive. But it is going to be Miyu Jojo, your Neon Whale champions this time around. Congratulations, and congratulations to the runner-ups as well. It was some fantastic gameplay to watch.
Yeah, great gameplay. It was very nice to see a lot of different comps come out here, but unfortunately that's going to be it for us. Thank you to the IPL staff, thank you to the streamers, to everybody involved. I'm Jake Root. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at JakeRoot0, and you can find me all around the Splatoon 3 category. I'm at where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at iMadGamerII, as well as here on IPL, just commentating things like Neon Whale, SOS, Lowing, anything I can take part of. But once again, I want to thank you all for hanging out, thank you all for watching, and as Jake said, thank you to the production for putting this all on. It's been a absolute blast to commentate here, and thank you, Jake, for commentating with me.
Thank you for commentating with me. I know we had some technical difficulty last time we wanted to try and commentate, so it's good to finally actually commentate with you.
Indeed. Well, hope you all have a good night, and once again, thank you for tuning in.